Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
Talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Jake Trotter going to stop by at 10:30, 11 o'clock. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. Time to get your questions into the fellas. We will get to those coming up at 11 o'clock. Bill Bender going to join us from the Sporting News at 11:30, and you're officially endorsed coming at 11:50 or thereabouts, somewhere in there. Disbelief, I guess. When you watched that last night. And it felt like a great many of you did. It was a game two. It was a competitive game. It was one of those instances where my hunch is, even if you weren't locked into the NBA playoffs last night, that if you were on your phone or if you were on social, you sought it out and found it because you started to get word that this was getting dicey. The Cavs were up big much of the game and jumped out 35 to 15, actually led by 20 in the third quarter. And you're watching this and you're saying, okay, well, this is how a game two goes. And I think we even remarked on this yesterday. We said, what are they favored by? 9? And they were by 9. It was like, yeah, this is all right. Let's get to Indy 1-1 and call it a day. And then it's just one of the most stupefying last minute and a halves of a professional sport I've seen. I understand that that's rich with hyperbole, but at the same time, when you just look at the data of it, they're up 7 with 1:06 in the game after the Max Strus 3. They're up 119-112 with the ball with under a minute to go in the game. They're up 3 with 27 seconds with the ball. Just inbound it. Just get the damn thing in. One of Beamsy's best buddies, his little guard running mate, LG, his dad hit me with a text last night that I thought pretty funny. He said, LG said, so now the Cavs can't get it inbounded against AAU defense? And that's what it felt like. It was just really physical man defense. They could not get the ball inbounded. It's one of the most stupefying things ever. The inbound blunder from Strus is just an all-timer. Like, I don't understand how that is even possible. And then the missed free throw and the rebound off of it that leads to the Halliburton 3. If they don't come back and win the series, which I think is very much in question when you consider the injuries they have and the fact that we knew that Indiana would be a full day to begin with, this is an all-time loss. I mean, Reese, you watch a lot of their games. It's an all-time Cavaliers loss for me. If they can't dig themselves out of this thing.
Yeah, if they're eliminated in the series, this is something you think about, but forever. The idea that they couldn't box out, that they couldn't inbound the ball, stupefying. You're up 20, 81-61, close that damn game out. I understand you're down, 2 starters, Donovan Mitchell's cramping up, but you got to find a way to make that game 1. You got to find a way to make that series 1-1. And if they don't come back to Cleveland for Game 5 at 2-2, that's it. It's cooked, at least in my opinion. You have Game 3 on Friday. You got at least two plus days of rest. You can put Donovan Mitchell in the back to tank. You could try to see if Darius Garland's toes doing all right. How's Evan Mobley feeling? How's DeAndre Hunter feeling? I mean,
they're without 3 crucial
to try to paint this turd gold, not wine, gold. The starting 5 for the Cavaliers is 7th, the 7th seed in the East. And we had even said before the series, this Indiana Pacers team's a nightmare. in terms of their length, in terms of their shooting ability, in terms of how physical they play on defense. And with the Cavaliers starting five that includes Garland and Mobley, it was going to be a long series. Well, you don't have Garland, you don't have Mobley. You're starting Dean Wade, Ty Jerome, and you're hoping to get the most out of Max Strus.
He played great.
Ty Jerome, bad day to have a bad day. Same with Dean Wade.
Bad series to have a bad series for Ty Jerome
so far.
Because he is, 1 of 15 from 3 in this thing?
1 of 7 last night.
He's 1 of 14 from the floor last night. I mean, he had wide open looks, and it wasn't there. I mean, you hit a free throw down the stretch. Once again, they have the same amount of threes as Indiana hit. They went 11 at 39. They're less than 30% from 3 in this game. There was a couple of instances, even in the fourth quarter, where they're like in transition and they pass up like drives to the bucket to take threes. And it's like, God almighty, like they're just not falling, boys. It's a reminder, too, Bake, of just even at the professional level, things could get helter-skelter in a hurry. And that's kind of the way this one felt. Like it was like an out-of-body experience watching them play.
The pressure can get to you, especially when you have guys out there that haven't been in that spot before. And unfortunately, that's what the Cavs have right now with these injuries. Like some of these guys wouldn't have been in this spot before in the playoffs because they're bench guys that wouldn't be out there, but they're being relied upon right now. Bo, I checked in on this game in the first half, I think it was, late in the first half, and I saw the Cavs were up by 20. And I was like, oh, maybe even it was early in the second half. So I think it was like 82-61 or something.
It was 81-61 for sure. That for sure.
So
I wrote that, put one down.
So that's when I looked in on it, and I was like, oh, this is nice. The Cavs got that. We're evened up. So then I checked back in later, and I was actually going to check on the Reds score. And I saw the Cavs score, and I was like, wait a second, they lost?
Yeah.
How did this happen? And then, so this morning, part of my routine, I get up, and I'll put SportsCenter on the TV while I'm doing stuff before I go take my shower. And then I see, well, wait, they had a 7-point lead with 47 seconds left and lost? So then I watched the whole sequence there, and it was just baffling. It's just something that you just don't expect from this Cavs team that has been so good all year.
You don't expect it from professionals. I mean, you had it right. It was 81-61 in the third. They get
just
up to a
find
terrible,
a way.
Yeah, I mean, it's got off to a terrible. I mean, they had no depth. Obviously, they're without 3 of their major. If you think of their crunch 5, it would include Mobley, Garland, and Hunter. They would all be in their crunch 5. So that's part of it, right? But this was one of those ones that you did everything that was necessary, and you held them off the entire way. And it's just simply just inbound the ball. Just get the ball inbounded, and they could not do it. It was just absolutely stupefying. Mitchell had some. I mean, to your point, you're up 7 with 40. Donovan Mitchell's free throws put you up 119-112 with 57 seconds to go. There is a dunk from Nesmith with 47 seconds that cuts it to 5, and then Mitchell has the offensive foul turnover, and then that leads to the Siakam layup, which cuts it to 3. But at that point, all you have to do is inbound the basketball, and they took their last timeout with 27 seconds to go. They could not inbound the basketball either time. I mean, it was just stupefying that professionals could not get open and create space on an inbound play to throw the ball to a hand where only your guy can get it, and they couldn't do it. And it was Strus on the bad pass, and he was largely really good. I don't know what he was doing on the inbound.
And they even got lucky on that inbound Mitchell where he elbows high. It's like that's a flagrant. As a Cavs fan, I'm thrilled they didn't call it. The refs, I don't think, needed to go to the video to review it. Like on the Naismith dunk, or where he basically out-hustles the entire Cavaliers squad to get that missed free throw. Like, they take 3 minutes to review the call that I'm still not 100% sure exactly what they were looking at, but I think it was to make sure that the ball had left the cylinder before Naismith gets his hands on it to put it back into the hoop. And it's like, well, they made the call on the court. They awarded the points. Then they took the points away and go to the video review monitor, and then it's 5 minutes of just, what are we doing?
They basketball officiating really sucks the life out of the games. The constant reviews. We saw this in the NCAA tournament where it was, some of these things are 2.5, 3 minutes to look at if a particle of a finger skims a ball and redirects it to go out of bounds. Like, listen, if you can't have centralized replay, I am so sick of seeing officials walk over to half court, look at a tiny monitor, try to get it to review and fast forward and to go over it 1,000 times to make sure it's right with two of them. If you cannot have a centralized location where there is an eye in the sky, an eye of God, if you will, that says that is off Mitchell, Indiana ball, that can be a 15-second switch. There is no reason to suck the life out of games the way that basketball referees suck the life out of games. Quite honestly, I know this sounds crazy. I would almost them get it wrong than take all of that time to get it that right by a millimeter.
Well, that's what you have them there for.
I don't think that's the spirit of the game at all, is to go over it frame by frame to see if a fingernail touched a ball on an inbound.
It has to be awful. It has to be indisputable, right? Conclusive evidence, they always say, to overturn. That tells me if you can't see it in 30 seconds, move on.
That's it. It's wrecking it.
On to the
wrecking
next.
it. It wrecks the flow. It's brutal. And we saw it all tournament. We're seeing it in the early NBA playoffs as well. This constant notion that we got to have 2.5-minute reviews on everything. Go ahead, Becky.
I heard this stat from Shark earlier, and he said he heard it from Sports Center all night. I think it was 1,643 times in the NBA playoffs, a team has been up by 7 points with less than a minute to go. 3 times the team that was trailing came back and won the game. Once was Oklahoma City. Twice has been in the last month, the Indiana Pacers.
I'll just say this on that Halliburton 3. Friggin' onions, man.
Oh, yeah. But I also like that is a free thinking a let it fly as you're ever going to have. Your coach doesn't take a timeout. And by the way, Cavs fans, save me on the basket interference on the free throw. Everybody jumps early on those. Everybody does. I think
Allen was in the paint early.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not why you lost. Block
7
out.
points, less than a minute. No excuses.
That's why you lost. Inbound the basketball. Figure it out. It's also part of a pretty wild trend that is happening so far in these NBA playoffs. We will get to that. We have a relatively big trade in the NFL. We will get to that as well. As we mentioned, it is a Hey Guys First Friday. Get your questions into the fellas. We'll get to those at 11 o'clock. We're off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Hi, I'm Giannis. I'm a coach at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. One of my most successful clients, not only in weight loss, but in attitude, came to us with stern doctor's orders that if he didn't do something, he would be dead within 5 years. He did not initially even want to have the conversation, but he signed up for the program. By the second week on the program, he was thanking me, thanking the program. He could not believe how much better he felt. Within 8 weeks, he was down 55 pounds. He was a true transformation of body, but definitely of mind. And of course, he feels amazing.
Hey, it's Austin Ward with a reminder that losing weight with Awaken 180 isn't about the number on the scale. It's about how that number spearheads endless successes. Bring your goals to Awaken 180. Then celebrate when you check off each and every one of them. Call 844-346-1800 or go online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
Join Rothman and Ice every Thursday at 2:30 for Gold Jacket Thursday.
Presented by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
A new Hall of Famer joins the show every week, but not OJ because he's dead and probably a murderer. The Fan.
Have you experienced foot or ankle pain during or after sports, running, or exercising at the gym? Nagging aches in your foot or ankle that won't go away? Podiatric physicians can provide you with important foot care solutions, shoe inserts, or show you how to support your feet and ankles so you're able to compete or exercise comfortably. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state and have been serving the profession and the public for over 100 years. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A little bit of patchy fog out there early. That burns off as we see a mix of sun and clouds through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. Temperatures should make their way in the mid-70s for highs. We'll drop back down into the 50s overnight with mostly cloudy conditions. Another chance for some showers rolls through Thursday, drying by the weekend. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, this all starts Monday. New Morning Juice with Bob and Tito. That is 6 to 8 a.m. The Fan's YouTube channel, The Fan 3 on HD Radio, and the Fan app. Download the Fan app today. 10 a.m. to noon then on 10 TV Plus, free streaming app available on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. You can watch it there. You can download all of those things today. Your new weekday lineup here on The Fan starting on Monday. T-Bone and Tyvis, 6 to 9. We remain right where we are, as does Rothman and Ice. And then 3 to 6, Common Man and Timmy. From 3 to 6, 6 to 8 will be the Buckeye Show with Beam. I can't say... anytime I read that and I see Timmy, I think of Eric Cartman saying, Timmy! I cannot help myself.
As well you should. You're a man, you're 40.
I am. Are they still doing episodes of that? Are they still doing new ones?
I think they're releasing like specials on Max
South Park
here and there. But when Drew Timmy, former Gonzaga star, I want to say, he plays for the Brooklyn Nets, I think, right now. At times during those games for the Nets, when he like scores or gets a rebound, they go, Andrew Timmy. They'll play for the arena.
I got to tell you, like, South Park was so good, but I kind of quit watching South Park on TV after the movie because I didn't know how they could top that.
I haven't seen one. I mean, it was one of those, we're of an age that, it was one of those things in college that, you come home late and it's just on a lot. And so that was kind of the, I don't think my kids have seen it yet. Certainly the littles would be too young. I think NBC, it's got to be right in his wheelhouse to things that he would certainly enjoy. Yeah, there was some, yeah, it's pretty great. Anytime I read that, I have to say it in Cartman's voice. I can't help it. Look, I don't know how you come back from it. I don't. I mean, I think that they'll talk themselves into it from the standpoint of, hopefully they get Garland back, they get Mobley back, they get Hunter back. Okay, now we're whole again. But there was some real damage here. And Reese, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell and putting him maybe in some sort of hyperbaric chamber or something like that. He is beaten up. He was really beaten up because he's not shooting it well. So everything for him is to attack the rim. There is a punishment that you take attacking the rim like that. I've always said that about LeBron James, especially when he was in Cleveland, and you would hear people say, why doesn't he just attack the rim? Just go at the rim. No one can stop him. Because it takes an absurd amount of energy to attack the rim over and over and over again. Why do you think as we age, and if we still play pickup basketball, we eventually devolve into the point where we just run from three-point line to three-point line? Because it's hard. It's hard to relentlessly attack the rim, and you take a punishment in doing so. Donovan Mitchell in 2 games in this series is 2 of 18 from 3. 2 of 18. I mean, that ain't it, brother. He had 48 in this last night. 48. He went 17 of 21 from the free throw line. He had 9 assists in the game. He couldn't do any more. His plus minus was plus 13. Still didn't get it done. And I know they're out key guys, but this was one they had to have, and it's a trend that is kind of an interesting one where the road teams have won all of the games thus far in the NBA second round because the Warriors won in Minnesota last night. Steph goes down in the second with a hammy. My hunch is just the tone coming out of Golden State that he's done is what it seems like to me. I mean, like he's not coming back from a hammy for game 2. My hunch is he's out a while.
Yeah, they'll probably reevaluate him in like a week or so. For the Timberwolves, it's like you got to capitalize on that. But I think it's for the T-Wolves, and I think for the Thunder, it just feels like for both those squads, not yet.
They're not yet just got a lot more open-minded if they don't have to deal with Curry.
But if they can't capitalize on that, yeah.
I mean, now all of a sudden you don't have to deal with him. That's a game changer.
It sounds like the preliminary on him, they just said a hamstring strain. They haven't said grade 1 or grade 2. Grade 1 is usually 7 to 10 days, they say. Grade 2 is 3 to 6 months.
Steph is in his late 30s.
Yeah, for older guys, it's significantly worse.
I don't care what type of horse placenta hyperbaric situation he's in. If it's a hammy and it's any sort of severe at all, you don't know if you come back this year from it. I mean, that lingers forever for them. And so that part sucked. But it's also strange how these road teams have won all of these games to this point. Every single game has been won on the road. And forever you fight for this home court advantage. My hunch is, I have no statistical analysis or scientific data to back this up. The only thing I can think to is it just comes down to the 3 ball kind of being the equalizer. Like if you're hitting those or if you're not is kind of the difference maker in this one. And we saw that with Boston in their first game against the Knicks when they went 15 of 60 from 3. And if you look at the Warriors game last night, yeah, Golden State ends up 18 of 42 from 3. That's 43%. Conversely, yeah, I'm telling you, it's the only stat that matters in the league. I didn't even look at this box score when I started this little take here. Minnesota last night went 5 of 29. It's it. It's the 3's the equalizer. If you hit them, you win. If you don't, you lose. And home court doesn't matter much. It's just kind of that simple. Anthony Edwards ended up going 9 of 22 in that game last night, 1 of 5 from 3. So it's just simple as that. Minnesota didn't hit 3s. Golden State did. Same thing happened in Boston in game 1 of that series. The Celtics took a ton of 3s and missed them. It's kind of the great equalizer on this thing. So that's a little bit where all of that comes from.
Do you, if you're the Boston Celtics, try to shoot more 3s tonight in game 2?
I just shoot that 60 again and say we're going to make 25. We're not making 15 again.
Incredible volume.
We're going to make 25 of them and 10 more and we're good. You know, heck, if they hit 4 more, they'd be good. Let's hear from Donovan Mitchell. He was asked how this team is going to get past an 0-2 deficit in round 2. Here is the Cavs all-star guard.
We can sit here and dwell on this and be home in about 4 or 5 days, or we can move on and take some things that we did really well and go from there. I have no doubt everybody in that locker room is ready for Friday. It sucks, stings, but we got to go out there and take care of business. Otherwise, that's it. But I believe in everybody in that locker room. We believe in each other. We'll figure it out.
Kenny Atkinson, who earlier this week won the NBA Coach of the Year on the fourth quarter collapse.
I would just say collectively we ran out of gas. They kept turning it. It was impressive how they turned it up, holding, grabbing, and fouling. But that's the play. That's the playoffs. I'm not complaining about it. That the refs did a good job. I just think you have to be played through fouling and holding and grabbing, and we didn't have the force left.
That's like one of those passive aggressives. I thought the referees did a good job, but boy, they were holding and grabbing a lot.
And they were I remember Pascal Siakam got called for a reach in and just looked at the ref like, I've never done anything. I didn't touch him. It's like, man, you gave him a hug.
Yeah.
But they're going to do that, and it's if they let that game play, they let both teams be physical. Mm-hmm. It's just the Pacers were the more physically imposing squad.
Yeah, I mean you're without 3 of your crunch 5, right? And that's a big part of it. And the one thing that the Cavaliers had on them was skill and overall skill of roster. Well, 3 of your 5 most skilled players did not play in the game, and so it's hard to do that. The hope was that they could kind of find a way to do it, but they couldn't, and so it ends up being a pretty big collapse and quite honestly a choke. Atkinson here now on what gives him hope heading into Game 3 on Friday.
I loved our compete level. I loved our physicality, how together we were. We're down 2 all-stars and Dre. I just thought we outplayed them. So that gives us hope, right? Hopefully we get 1 or 2 guys back because that's we obviously need a boost now, especially physically. We could use someone else in the lineup.
No, you need all 3.
Yeah, and I think the Garland thing was pretty interesting because there was the TNT sideline guy had said that Garland told him that he planned to play, and then he didn't. And it's like, what is going on? Like, how did all of this happen? And I suppose the theory is, look, this is a long playoff. We need you to be closer to all the way right, but you need the cavalry coming on Friday. Because that's one of the best places you can watch a basketball game in the world. Is it used to be Conseco? I don't know what it's called now. Whatever it's called now.
It's Gainbridge.
Is it that? Fine. That place is built for hoops. It's straight up and down. Every seat is close. It will be loud. They'll be revved up, and you're going to have to overcome it. And the start will be critical. And I think you need all of your guys to be able to do it because you've dug yourself a pretty big hole here. Go ahead.
And I do kind of hope that the NBA allows John Halliburton back. Like Tyrese Halliburton's dad, because it did feel like he kind of learned his lesson. Like that didn't feel like he was seeking out Giannis in Game 5 of their first round series, especially if Indiana's able to break out the brooms on Sunday. Like, let your dad enjoy what Tyrese Halliburton's done this series, because he even landed awkwardly on his wrist. And so that's one of the several injury storylines for both teams to look at going into Friday. But I think, let your dad in on this game just to appreciate what you've done this season and for your early career.
I think it's a nice moment for you to extend that olive branch. My guess is the NBA will say no. You're going to sit this one out for a little while. The Big Ten cashed a lot of checks. You will not believe, though, who they wrote checks to. It blew my mind. Quite honestly, it blew my mind. When people say there's not enough money, oh baby, there's always enough money. We'll explain in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. The Big Ten announcing its revenue for 2024 for the 2025 fiscal year according to tax statements in 2024. So the 14-member league saw its revenue soar to $928 million. So that meant that the league dispersed between 63.26 and 63.43 million to 12 of its members and 61.52 to Rutgers and Maryland. Yeah, that's right. They are still getting less. USC and UCLA will come in as fully vested members once these payouts start to come to them. So that the next time around, you're going to see these full payouts for USC and UCLA. Oregon and Washington are going to get half payments until, I believe, 2031. It's a while out. Is that the year, Bake, when they start to get it, like 2030?
I thought it was 2030.
Okay,
when they got that.
Like
and
that.
They said Rutgers and Maryland aren't getting the full amount because they're paying back money that they borrowed before they were fully vested.
Oh, yeah. I remember doing that story several years ago that Rutgers was their athletic department and their university was incredibly in the red despite all of this, which is probably the greatest. I believe I had that in the history of Uncle Bo. I believe I had that is Rutgers' impact on the Big Ten. We're over a decade in. How's it going? How did it go? Are they a power? Because I was told they would be. I was told that I was naive to think that they wouldn't just be what they are, and instead that's exactly what they've been. But this is the real what's up here. Okay, but just have a listen to this. Former Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren received more than $6.8 million, including $5.75 million in bonuses for ushering in the new media rights contract. This is a development first reported by USA Today. Folks, Kevin Warren is helping to run the Chicago Bears and has not been employed by the Big Ten Conference since April of 2023. That is 2 years ago. And he received compensation of nearly $7 million in bonuses and salary from the league this year. You want to make it worse? Hold my beer. You remember Jim Delaney? Do you even remember Jim Delaney?
It's the Wayback Machine.
He ushered in the New York market.
He ushered in the New York market. It was his idea to add Rutgers. It was but it was him telling us cable buy was the key to it all. He's the father of the Big Ten Network and all of it. So Jim Delaney received $5.85 million in reportable and deferred compensation from the Big Ten. Folks, he retired in January of 2020.
COVID
and he got a check
even
for
a
$6
thing
million.
then.
What are we doing? Who is signing these contracts? Tony Petitti, who's the
Kevin Warren and
Jim Delaney.
Jim Delaney are signing these contracts.
And the presidents are allowing it. And they're going, yeah, this is great. This is a great idea. Tony Petitti, who's the current commissioner of the Big Ten and has been since May of 23, 2 years on the job, he earned $2.62 million in base compensation and bonuses in 2024. So when this is the thing, when you hear people say, where's the money coming from? These athletes are making too much. And then you come off of the last couple of weeks of news of a conference paying out bonuses 2 years old to a commissioner who, what would you say Kevin Warren's greatest accomplishment was? I think to me, it's the idea of selling the Big Ten championship game to a television partner that nobody in the league knew about.
I don't know. He had that moment when he appeared on like a Zoom call with the Alliance. That was pretty entertaining.
Was good, yeah.
Yeah, it's the ultimate thank you for your service, but you're saying it dripping in sarcasm to him, to Jim Delaney. But these guys are the ones that are creating these contracts, and then the Big Ten chancellors and presidents are saying, sure, why not? With probably outreading the fine print.
If you're Tony Petitti, how does it feel that your predecessor is made almost triple what you did, and the guy before your predecessor made over double what you did?
Your predecessor's predecessor. I mean, that's how far back this thing goes. No. And they're still paying this out. Like, it's the craziest thing. And it's the other thing that happens in big time college athletics that I think it's hard for people to wrap their head around, and it's hard for me too. I don't understand it. They will renegotiate contracts that don't need renegotiating.
That's to get deferred payments. Because somewhere was like, well, I can kick the can down the road because I'm pretty comfortable in my living right now. And I speak to Jim Delaney, who was making good money when he was the commissioner. And this deferred payment basically just gives him income for doing nothing.
Oh, for sure. And you constantly see, I think this is what led to the hurt feelings with Jim Knowles. Like as you pointed out yesterday, Reese, like he just had done a new contract and then he wants another new contract. It's just like when they released the salaries of the staff, it was like they gave all of these raises, and it's like, where was there the demand to give these raises?
You're getting escalators in your contracts that every single game you win in the college football playoffs, you're getting bonuses, academic bonuses.
Yeah.
All of these things are giving you enough financial compensation to where you can't realistically 12 months after you've signed an extension go, I would like another, please. I'm offended you didn't give me another. Again, boo-hoo, Jim Knowles.
But this is what happens in college sports. Forever. They have so much money and they have to spend it because they're a nonprofit, so they just throw money at things that doesn't need it. Anytime somebody says to me, and I get this all the time, I'm sure you guys do too, where are they going to get the money to pay? What's going to happen? Are we going to be able to keep sports? Are we going to be able to pay football players? Because once we start having to pay this $20 million out of all of the revenue, are we going to be able to pay the athletes? How are we going to be able to make it work? Well, you're paying a bunch of salaries that are not the demand that you're paying them. You're choosing to put this money out there. You're choosing to still pay Kevin Warren as a league almost $7 million. You signed a contract that gave him that. For ushering, by the way, so he's getting a $7 million bonus, and it says here in this story that he's getting it for ushering in the new media rights contract. Isn't that his job?
Mm-hmm. But he did such a good one.
Isn't that the job? That's the job. That's what you're supposed to do. Imagine you're out there driving around, and that's way more. I want to say his salary, usually it's probably right around where Petitti's was. I would say it's like 2.5. Imagine you're driving around and doing whatever your job is, delivery, whatever you may be, and somebody comes up to you and they say, you're doing such a good job at doing your job that we're going to pay you 3 times your salary just for doing your job. Can I interest you in that? Because that's college athletics.
And I'm guessing, right, that these bonuses were built into that contract.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that the Big Ten and Tony Petitti or Kevin Warren would have built in. So you're going to see this for Tony Petitti down the road when he signs new contracts with Fox or CBS or NBC, whoever it is. Listen, if Bobby Bonilla can still be getting paid by the Mets, why not Kevin Warren from the Big Ten?
I mean, you see this with CEOs. You see this with university presidents and chancellors. You see this with athletic directors that are getting bonuses for the wrestling team. It's what are we doing here?
Yeah, they're spending money just to spend it because they have so damn much. One last thing on this. Can you imagine walking on the Oregon campus and looking around and thinking about what that university's athletic department has accomplished in the last couple of years and saying, you're going to get half of what Rutgers gets. You're going to get half of what Purdue gets, half of Minnesota, half of Iowa, half of Indiana. You're going to get half. To that brand, they get half. UCLA, full boat. Full boat. You tell me which athletic department you'd rather run, UCLA's or Oregon's. You tell me which brand is stronger, UCLA's or Oregon. And I'm not talking about John Wooden. I'm talking about right now. Which brand is more valuable? Hell, you could argue they're more valuable than USC at this point. Certainly better. Really across all sports. I mean, I'm sure there's some Olympic stuff USC's better at. But in terms of the ones that print money, it's Oregon. And you got to walk into Oregon and say, yeah, you're going to get half for the next 6 years. Take your porridge and like it, boys.
Insane.
I do think that was part of the agreement when Oregon and Washington joined. It's like, well, how bad do you want to join? We'll give you less, but you can join.
Absolutely. And both Oregon, absolutely. And I think Washington's a big university, too. They get a lot of money. I mean, they've been big time on NIL, and I think their football team is going to be much improved this year because of that. But those are monster universities, and I understand that that's agreement. But the idea that they didn't drive enough eyeballs and somehow half of this league allegedly does is farcical.
As you mentioned, listen, this is all about football, right? Football is what I think you could argue that Oregon's brand in football is bigger than anyone's except for maybe Ohio State and probably Michigan.
I think that's fair. I think if you're going to rank, and we can get into that, we're up against it. We can get into that a little bit coming up next in terms of where the branding of football is. But I think you're probably right. I think they'd slide in somewhere right behind those two and chomping at the bit, honestly. They're right there. So we'll get into that. We did have a relatively big trade in the NFL. What does it mean for the Steelers quarterback situation, and could it affect my theory that they already know they're getting Rodgers? We will get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get your mulch ready for the season. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Whether it's mulch, soil, or even stone, we've got your yard covered. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your garden with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 5-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
If my buttery smooth voice represents the photos in your social media feed,
and this is closer to what real life is like. Social media can be fun, but remember, it's only showing you
the filtered version of life. So when social media is stressing you out, check in on yourself and remember, it's not the whole story. For more tips on reducing your stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Spring is here and it's time for a fresh start, starting with your ride. At Germain Toyota, we've got an offer that'll drive you into the season in style. Get behind the wheel of a 2025 Toyota Tundra SR5 today for just $499 a month. That's right, a powerful, rugged Tundra, just like the one I'm driving, for $449 a month for 36 months. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net. $39.99 down, 36-month lease, plus tax, title, and fees. No security deposit required with approved credit. Offer ends soon. See dealer for details.
The Fan has been ranked as the second best sports station in America by our industry peers. Our heartfelt thank you is in order. But we're not doing it because we're better than that hillbilly Birmingham station that came in first. Thanks for nothing.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Hey, Chris Candy here. My mom goes out of her way to make me happy, so this year I'm returning the favor with a bouquet from the Books Company. Their flowers are cut fresh from the best farms so they grow bigger, brighter, and last way longer. It's easy. Pick your bouquet, delivery date, and done. Mother's Day is May 11th, so order your books now. Go to Books.com, use promo code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Books, promo code CANTY.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, you sick of those long security lines, the flight delays? I swear it happens every single time that I fly. There's one thing you can do to put this back in your hands, and that is travel on your terms. You can go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's open house. It's May 3rd, which started last weekend, through the 10th. So take advantage. Huge deals, new pre-owned RVs. They're going to take care of you. Delaware, Heath, Pataskala locations are going to feature exclusive sales pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers. Fifth wheels, motorhomes, special financing rates are available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. Tell them Bo sent you. They'll take care of you. We'll have you road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Get to the NFL move here in a second. All right, this is how I have it. I have it in tiers. Big Ten brands, football. Ohio State and Michigan are their own tier. They're all by themselves. The next tier for me is Oregon, Penn State, and USC. I think they're in their own tier. So they're tier 2 for me. The next tier is tier 3. In this tier, I have Nebraska, Iowa, UCLA, Washington, and Wisconsin in that tier. That's tier 3 for me.
No Sparty.
Are they in that tier?
No.
I think I would have them in
there. Should I have a separate tier?
I don't think of Michigan State in the same way I think of Wisconsin.
So should Wisconsin, would Wisconsin, Washington, UCLA, and Nebraska be a tier? I don't know about UCLA. I don't know what to make of them. Michigan State probably is in this. USC's in tier 2 with Penn State and Oregon. Despite how it's gone, I still feel like
yeah.
I still feel like they just have a Heisman winner 2 years ago. Like I still think that they're there. To me, they're there with Penn State and Oregon, are in that second tier. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, UCLA, Washington. Do they all feel similar?
To me, they do. Especially those first 4 you said. I think I've always thought of them pretty much the same.
And then the last one, that's your Illinois, Indiana, Maryland, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, Northwestern is the last. And some of that's bad, really bad. Yeah. So I think any way you cut it, the new additions to the Big Ten are in tier 2 and tier 3, all of them. They're all of them. And I think Oregon is certainly trending the most positively to get into. I think Oregon is almost like 10 years from now. Is Oregon in tier 1?
Yes.
I think they're headed there.
Yeah. I think they're pretty close now.
I tell you, they are with the kids. The only thing that probably keeps us from putting them in there is because we're old.
Are they banging their head against the ceiling, though?
Yeah, they are. They're right there.
I think the thing that keeps them out is they haven't won one. They've been close, but they haven't won one yet. I think that's the thing that keeps them out.
Was the last national championship they played in 2014?
I believe so.
They played in a couple back-to-back. They lost to Auburn when Cam won it.
So that'd have been the last BCSer. Then they lost to Ohio State.
And then they lost,
I feel like that Mallard's just whacking his head against that ceiling. And without a true national championship,
I think it's
stuck.
that. The other thing I think is it's probably that, and then a combination of just relatively new history. I mean, Oregon football is kind of in its current sense has been around about 2 decades. I mean,
like
before
the Mike
that,
Bellotti era.
Yeah. Rich Brooks started to get it headed in the right direction. Then Bellotti, it took off, but they've been like on the top of the national conscience for about 20 years. So that's what I mean. Like 10 years from now, I think they'll be there. And I think that's why it's kind of an interesting thing with them and Penn State and USC, because to me, they're all kind of similar, but I think Oregon is ascending. And it feels like Penn State is kind of very, very happy. I think it's such a monster year for Franklin. It's just critical. Like if he just has to do it this year. He's got to win the Big Ten this year. He's got to, he was in the national semifinal.
James Franklin?
Yeah, that guy. It's critical for him to kind of do it. I know. It's now or never, though. My God, the stars are not going to align this way. Ohio State and Michigan, new quarterbacks. Oregon, new quarterback. USC, new quarterback. Like, he should be the one to do it. We did have a relatively big NFL trade. I think the timing of this is very strange. So this morning, the Steelers dealt wide receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys for a 3rd-round pick in 2026 and a 5th-rounder in 2027. I am not at all surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers traded George Pickens. There's been rumors about this since the season was over, that his time there had worn out, that the ice with which he stood was getting more thin by the moment. So the idea that they traded him is not shocking to me. I do think it's pretty shocking that they didn't do it in advance of the draft. Like, why didn't this, if you're Pittsburgh, why didn't you get this deal done before the draft so you could have replaced him immediately for this year? That's the part I don't get. I don't understand how they weren't able to get this deal done before the NFL draft. The timing of it is odd to me.
I wonder if nobody was going to offer anything close to this, because that's the only thing that makes sense. Is they had feelers out there since before, as in like the week before.
Yeah.
And the only thing sensible to me that they didn't pull the trigger then was they didn't get anything like this. Like they had someone was like, "I'll give you a 5th-round pick," but he caught 3 touchdowns last season. So no thanks. We'll just find a guy in the draft we think is just as good. And when Dallas really didn't, they make this move now, because Jerry Jones did talk about substantive trades or substantive deals. And if this is the most substantive deal the Cowboys do in the offseason.
Talent-wise, it's pretty good. He's a headache. And the idea that, like, do you know who's coaching? Do you guys remember who's coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? Off the top of your head, do you remember?
Mike Tomlin? Oh, you mean Schottenheimer?
I'm sorry. The Cowboys.
The
Cowboys.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Not Marty Schottenheimer.
Not Marty. Brian. Brian is coaching that team. So he's going to be in charge of wrangling all of this.
I feel like the Steelers, they've known George Pickens wasn't going to be a part of this team no matter what. I think the DK Metcalf deal, that was their replacement for Pickens. And then it's just let the chips where they fall. They've brought in Robert Woods. Calvin Austin made some strides for them a little bit. But I think Metcalf was their replacement for Pickens, and that's their number one, and they don't care about the depth chart behind it.
I know Devontae signed in Los Angeles with the Rams, but it does feel like if they get Rodgers, he's going to want to dig around and find and bring in one guy that he really likes. And I know he was throwing with Metcalf a couple weeks ago in Los Angeles, but...
Well, Alan Lazard's available.
Everybody, is Reggie Cobb still around?
Randall Cobb somewhere?
Randall Cobb still around? I think the thing to remember here, though, I guess everybody thought Pickens would be dealt once that, this is the thing that gives me pause on my my bold prediction that they've known all along that Rodgers is going to be a Steeler. I assumed that Pickens hadn't been dealt because they were going to have Rodgers throw to both of them. So I do wonder if maybe there's more uncertainty there than we thought, and maybe they really don't know. You look at their depth chart right now. You mentioned DK. Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, those are their other two receivers. Freiermuth, of course, very good. Offensive line, solid. The quarterback room is Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, our guy, and Skylar Thompson. That's the quarterback room. They did add Caleb Johnson, third-round pick out of Iowa. Jalen Warren is still there, but that's not quite as scary. Like, if you're Aaron Rodgers and you look at that, you go, yeah, that's me away from competing for a Super Bowl, because I don't think I do anymore. Talent-wise, they got worse. He's a pain in the neck, but talent-wise, they absolutely got worse. In light of what happened last night up in Cleveland, we're going to do a little cathartic exercise. Most painful loss of your sports rooting life. I don't anticipate this to be fun, but I'm curious what your guys' answer to is on this. I gave a lot of thought to this, and there was one that rang true for me, and I still think it probably holds the water. We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that, and often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, or if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, and your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. And for a limited time, new patients will get their initial appointment free, which includes blood work and a medical consult, because we believe low T treatments could have an incredible impact on your life. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. May is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you're going to be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you'll get 60% off and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. That's a whole lot of savings and a super smart investment, especially when prices are rising. So how exactly does Window Nation keep the prices affordable? Well, they work directly with top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to get 60% off. Plus, a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. And you pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
When you're on the go, every minute counts. Meijer Home Delivery and Pickup helps you make the most of every second. Get all your weekly shopping done online, quickly and easily, from wherever you are, whenever you want. Have your Meijer order delivered to your home by the service awarded #1 in grocery delivery. Or pick it up yourself while out and about, whatever works for your schedule. The good life is in reach with Meijer Home Delivery and Pickup. See Meijer.com for details.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here with a challenge. Well, a challenge might not be the best choice of words, so let's say an opportunity. Take the opportunity to lose 40 by the 4th with Awaken 180. Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, doesn't it? 40 by the 4th. Maybe you looked at the scale this morning and it read 230 pounds. How about it reading 190 by the 4th of July? Maybe the scale says 300. Wouldn't the 260 number be a little nicer on your eyes and on your knees? It's attainable if you have the same results we all had with Awaken 180. I dropped 40 pounds in just 8 weeks. There's no reason you can't drop 40 by the 4th and be feeling as great as I still do now. Ring Independence Day in healthy, confident, and most important, feeling happy. You reached your goal with the help of Awaken 180. So fire up your grill and grab your beverage of choice because the weight's staying off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and reach it. Reserve your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Nashville's hottest band, Old Dominion, is coming to Great American Ballpark on July 10th as part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series. After the Reds take on the Marlins, all fans in attendance are invited to stay and enjoy a set from Old Dominion. Plus, you can upgrade your ticket to a pit field pass for an up-close view of the show. For tickets and more information, visit reds.com/concerts.
Summer is better with True Green, especially at a price this low. For a limited time, get 75% off of your first treatment and enjoy your lawn without overspending. With True Green, you get expert care and a plan tailored to fit your lawn's needs. So it looks like the best while you save big. Let the pros handle the hard work while you enjoy the result. Relax more and keep more money in your pocket. A great lawn has never been this easy or this affordable. Sign up now at TrueGreen.com. Restrictions apply. Evan Cohen here. When the draft clock is ticking, you've got to pick the best talent, regardless of position, to fit your team's needs. Well, if you're hiring for your business, you want to find the best talent for any of your roles. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology hustles to find qualified candidates for your job immediately. And if you see a standout candidate, ZipRecruiter lets you personally invite them to apply. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Despite 48 points from Donovan Mitchell, the Cavaliers blew a double-digit second-half lead, and Tyrese Halliburton nailed a game-winning three with a second left to give the Indiana Pacers a 120-119 win in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Cavs trail 2-0 in the best-of-7. Pacers will host Game 3 Friday night. Also last night, Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals saw the Warriors beat the Timberwolves 99-88. Minnesota's going to host Game 2 on Thursday. In the NFL, the Steelers sent receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys in exchange for a third-round pick in 26 and a fifth-round pick in 27. Pickens is entering the final year of his rookie deal. And in baseball, the Guardians split a pair with the Nationals Tuesday. Cleveland will play in Washington today at 12:05. This update is sponsored by The Waterworks, your trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts. Visit The Waterworks online today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971-BFS. We will do that at 11 o'clock. Also can do so on the YouTube channel. Most painful loss of your sports rooting life. Got me thinking about this because of what happened last night. For the Cavs, which isn't. I mean, it's a Game 2 in the second round. It's not in the vicinity. It's one you're going to remember if they don't win the series, but certainly not the most painful. There's a lot of ways you could go here. Ohio State, Michigan, on the football side of things, and certainly 15 Michigan State jumps out as one that was awful painful. But I've said this to Tyvis and to Joshua Perry anytime I talk about 15. I thought 15 was incredibly flawed. And if it wasn't Michigan State, I think it would have come somewhere else. I just think they had gotten by on talent for much of that season. It was probably the most talented team maybe in the history of the program, but they had a lot. Urban was coaching with a lot on his plate that year. So that one I'm gonna give a pass to. And as I mentioned, you could do a lot of Ohio State Michigan football games as your answer to that. And my guess is if you're a man, you're 40, I'm going to hear a lot about Michigan State in 98, and you're going to hear a lot about Biaka Batuka in those type of games. And that's there. And that very well may be your guys's. But it's interesting, the one that came to mind for me happened on, the date was late March of 2011. We were in Newark. It was the NCAA basketball tournament. It was the second round site. Your Ohio State basketball team in 2010-11 went into the NCAA tournament as the number 1 overall seed. They went into the NCAA tournament with only 2 losses. It was a combination of they finished that year 34-3. They were 16-2 in the league. They were the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Yeah, basketball, Buckeye basketball.
Unreal.
They were the Big Ten regular season champions. They were the Big Ten tournament champions. They played their first 2 rounds of that tournament in Cleveland, and then they had to go to Newark to play Kentucky. And they were it was one of those things where, and Gene Smith was the chair of the selection committee that year, and I remember thinking, like, boy, why did you give them having to go through Kentucky and Carolina in that regional? Because even if you had beaten Kentucky, you would have had to play Carolina. And the only kryptonite that team had was length. They just did not have length. And Kentucky had it, and North Carolina absolutely had it. And yet you're sitting there and you're watching this game, and it's a back and forth game, and you see Brandon Knight hit a shot in the key to put them up 2, and then you're sitting courtside. I was sitting right next to Dom courtside in Newark, and William Buford put a shot at the rim that felt like it was going in, a 3 to win it, and he didn't. And it went final, and you just went, wait, what just happened? This was the team that was supposed to win the national title. This had everything. It had the mix of veterans. Sullinger, as a true freshman, was a first-team All-American. He finished that game 21 points, 16 boards. I remember talking to Jared in the locker room afterwards, and he's like, I'm coming back. And we didn't even know about a lockout or anything. He's just like, I'm coming back. He was a first-team All-American as a freshman, and he was coming back. That's the one to me that is so painful. I was doing the coaches shows at that time, so I knew that staff really well. I knew those players really well. Obviously, Jared, you go back to high school with him and Satch and all of that, so you knew those kids for so long. That, to me, is the one that, and there's a bunch of ways you could go football, but when I thought about this, I don't know if I'm just in the mood for basketball or not, but when I thought about what is the most painful loss that I can remember as a fan or a team that I covered, 62-60, Kentucky over Ohio State in Newark, for me, that one came to mind.
For me, it's the 2016 World Series. Like, the whole thing, you lead 3-1, and the same time, the same year, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead that everybody forgets about. The Indians also blew a 3-1 lead in the series. Game 6 felt like that. You tie it up late in Game 7, I should say, and the rain delay, and I forget the pitcher for the Cubs' name comes out and just it ends it. And it's still.
I forgot they were up 3-1 in that series, Reese.
Reese, I will never, ever forget where I was during Game 7 of that World Series, because I was out in Las Vegas for work, and I'm sitting at a roulette table watching it all go away for the Guardians and thinking, man, I felt so bad for all my friends that were Cleveland, then Indians fans at the time, thinking, oh, this is just terrible for you guys. Man, though, this is such a great question for someone like myself who has been a Browns fan, a Reds fan, a Buckeye football fan that lived through the 90s, and a Blue Jackets fan. There's so many that I have written down here. I think one of the ones for me going on the Buckeye basketball side was back in 1992 when they lost to the Fab Five in the Elite Eight, because you had beaten them twice during the regular season. You'd been so close, you thought this team could win a national championship. And back then, Ohio State basketball was without a doubt my number one. And that just crushed me that they lost that game. There was no way they were going to lose that game to this group of freshmen, and they did. And as a Browns fan, Bo, this is way back. Like, I don't remember the whole games, but I remember watching the end, and I remember watching what it did to my father. The drive and the fumble back-to-back years were just crushing for Browns fans. I remember we're jumping up and down screaming, yeah, and then we realized that Biner fumbled the ball, and it just changed everything.
That one, I remember watching that from the other. I'm out west, obviously, at that time, but I remember having just this incredible empathy for Ernest Biner in that moment, just thinking, like, my God, he's on the doorstep. And they did that 30 for 30, I think it was called Believeland, where they interviewed him, and he's just in tears, and you just think about, like, he's been carrying that with him forever. Forever. The one thing on those that I think sometimes gets lost is those Broncos teams got housed in the Super Bowl. So I think sometimes it's told not necessarily how it was, but rather how you remember it, which is how a lot of stories go. And I think for a lot of Browns fans, it's told from the perspective of, if we had beaten the Broncos, we'd have won the Super Bowl. Well, Joe Montana was waiting. And so, you probably weren't going to win the Super Bowl. But
you made it. Didn't the one year they lose to the Giants 55-10?
That's the Niners one.
Okay.
The Niners beat the Broncos like that. I think the other one was the Giants, and that one might have been a little bit more competitive. Or it could have been a loss to the Redskins, because the Denver lost to the Redskins, too, in one of those that happened out there.
The AFC divisional round game between the Browns and the Chiefs, while it wasn't like the Browns choking, 3rd and 14, Chad Henne, damn you. Just tackle Chad Henne, and you got a chance.
Then you're set.
Come on.
So Bo, they lost those 2 years. They lost to the Broncos 39, or the Giants lost. They lost to the Giants 39-10.
39-20.
Then the Redskins 42-10. The 55-10 one was in 1990.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So I had those swapped a little bit. Yeah, it was Giants 39-20 in Super Bowl 21, and then Super Bowl 22, the Redskins beat the Broncos 42-10 in that one. The Broncos lost to the 49ers in 1990, 55-10. So that's the way that worked out. But yeah, you were going to face a gauntlet either way on the other side of it. There's a million Ohio State, Michigan ones. The ones in the 90s ring out. In terms of more recently, and I think that what you have to do when you have this conversation of both painful losses, you have to think about if this goes the other way. So that's why your Guardians won. Or were they Indians at that time?
In 2016, yeah, they were the Indians.
Yeah, still Indians.
Yep.
That World Series between the Indians and the Cubs was one where, you win it. You're right there. I'd forgotten they were up 3-1, but if you just win one game, you win it, and you end all of that, and you're able to do it all in the same year. I was at game one of that series, and that was the one where they were giving rings and hanging the banner, and then you walked across the thoroughfare for game one of the World Series, and LeBron and those guys walked over after the game. They moved the game one of the NBA season up so that the LeBron and those guys could walk over. And I remember them coming over into the stadium to watch game one of that World Series. So that's the thing is when you think about what could have been, and that's where that Ohio State basketball thing comes to me. Like if they beat Kentucky, I think they win it all. That was in my head. That team was 34-2. Their only losses that year were at Wisconsin and at Purdue. That's it. That's the list. Beat everybody else. They were that was such a complete team, just no holes in it. And I think that's the thing that's tricky. There are many Buckeye losses that you could point to. Lucky for us, not that many, and because there are so few, we remember them so vividly. In terms of the ones that are most painful, it's the ones that if you had won that game, you feel like, well, we win it all. And I think that's 98. 98's the one that's the toughest, because if you win, you're playing either Tennessee with T. Martin, or you're playing Florida State with their third quarterback. It probably, you would have been in that, because that was the first year of the bowl championship. It was the first year of it, was 98. So you would have been in that game.
To this day, you can't tell me that 98 Buckeyes team wasn't the best in the country. They were so good, and they beat Texas A&M in the Sugar Bowl that year. I think that they were the best team. I also think one that hurts, and you got the Band-Aid ripped off, right, of it, but the 06 Florida National Championship game, both of them, basketball and football, but football especially, you had the high of the Ted Ginn kick return, and then the injury, and then everything went wrong.
Yeah. I have a different perspective on that, because I covered that from the Florida side, and I'll share my perspective on that. We also have a school in the state that is ineligible for postseason play. We will get into that, continue this conversation on most painful losses of our sports rooting interest lives. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,000 off BX 2380 tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by CEC Turf and Tractor in Athens, Canal Winchester, Lancaster, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota tractors and mowers, or check them out online at CECTurfandTractor.com.
It's time for the Great Haircut Sale at your local Great Clip Salon.
Your chance to get a great haircut at an even greater price, just $7.99. And money's not all you'll save at Great Clips. When you use online check-in, you can save time too. So download our app today and hurry in for the $7.99 great haircut sale at Great Clips. It's gonna be great. For a limited time at participating salons.
The $7.99 Great Haircut Sale runs May 3rd through May 9th.
Visit our Columbus area salons.
For over 78 years, our family's been part of your love stories. At Diamond Seller, we offer bigger diamonds, better prices, and timeless designs for every chapter of your life. From your first yes to your forever I do, trust the jeweler who knows diamonds best. Visit Diamond Seller today.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Spring showers revealing roofing or siding issues? Trust the pros at Newman Roofing for expert care, white glove service, and quality you can count on. Schedule your estimate today and take advantage of special financing options. Call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com today.
We've all got it, you know, that one crazy thing you've always wanted to do, that bucket list goal. Then a cancer diagnosis, and that one thing still goes according to plan. I would know. I'm getting my first tattoo right now, while my 3 beautiful daughters laugh hysterically at me. 58 years old, 4 years of cancer-free checkups at Ohio Health. Go ahead and get a picture, girls. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans.
Rothman and Ice.
It's more evidence that you need to subscribe to the rule Bobby and I subscribe to.
What's that?
If you can't get a yard, you don't deserve to win.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. Enjoy the nice weather today. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon of a high in the 70s. We'll drop to the low 50s tonight. 60s tomorrow as scattered showers come back in for your Thursday. We'll be back to dry weather in 60s Friday, sunshine and 70s as we head into your Mother's Day weekend. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And we are brought to you and sponsored proudly by our great friends at Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Still time. Mom's Day coming up on Sunday. Go check them out. They'll take care of you. Tell them that I sent you. I promise you on that. We'll get to some of the more heartbreaking things. This is a pretty stupefying thing. I saw this this morning. Akron's football team is ineligible for bowl games this season due to poor academics. Yeah, they're still playing school. and their academic standing is so poor that they are ineligible for postseason play. It's the first time in a long time that this has been like they were going to make it anyway.
Right.
First time in a long time that this has come into that this has been implemented. It was waived around COVID because teams it was impossible to wrap your head around that side of it. I think sometimes we forget that they have to maintain an eligibility. I don't know what that's like. I am so disconnected with what the student athlete experience is like at a place like Ohio State. I remember being like shook that Justin Fields never took a class, like physically. Everything was online. So like I can't even wrap my head around what that experience is like for these kids. About what is, you're a student athlete to what end? What are they? I remember we tried getting J.C. Shelton on once after she had a big shot in the tournament against Carolina, and something missed, and she was like on her way to class. And I remember talking to the SID for women's basketball and being like, wait a second, she's going to class? Like the next day? What are we doing? Like there are some that still have like a traditional class, but I don't know how many do. I really don't.
It's funny, you'll have heard for years the stories that Tyvus would tell about like going to class and having Urban send some of his goons to classes just to make sure that guys' asses were in seats, and that when you would get, fall behind academically, like you were in the doghouse with Urban. And fast forwarded to Justin Fields, and obviously the pandemic has something to do with it, but the fact that he just had an iPad at Ohio State and that was good enough. And you think, with travel to USC and UCLA, and similarly for those schools, it's like, physical classes, like, huh?
I just think of like my kids, even with all of the work, all of their stuff's on a Chromebook now. So like when they have homework, it's not paper homework, it's Chromebook stuff. And I'm watching it, and I hope they have some sense of integrity. I'm thinking to myself, couldn't you just cheat on all of this pretty easily? It feels like you could. I mean, are they taking phones? I don't know how it even works.
A lot of AI and Chat GPT in the Bishop household.
There's a lot of time. Luckily, I think NBC's maybe starting to sort that out. The other two are too young for that. But it certainly is coming on that side of it. So I am curious just a MAC question. Obviously, Reese, you went to Ohio. I don't know what the future looks like for that level of college football. I really don't, because I know for sure how much. I remember this from when Tress was running Akron, and the struggles that they had financially as a university are very, very real. And then furthermore, their athletic department, it's a tough spot. Like they do well in basketball. They've won a national championship in soccer. But in terms of the football product, it's really tough to make it all work. And I do wonder about these MAC teams in an NIL world where they're not competing for championships. Reese, we have long talked about making them their own division so that they can compete for something and have their own playoff. I think there would be an audience for it. I know there would be, because there is one at the FCS level. So I'm certain that there would be an audience for it. But I do think no one worries about them, right? Because all we worry about is the top of the mountain and the Power 2 and all of that. But what happens to all of these guys over the next 10 years? What do these athletic departments look like?
Yeah, it feels like that's the only way forward, is for them to just break away from, or for them to be left behind. I guess one of the two has to happen, where the Power 4 or the Autonomy 4 or whatever phrase they're going to be using in the next month or so breaks away from all of this, and you have those group of 5 schools that are still beholden to the NCAA because they kind of have to be. Mm-hmm. And for like a program like Ohio, or for any of the programs in the MAC, I remember when I was a student there, none of them operated in the green. They were all in deficits, all of their athletic departmts. And so for a team like Akron, who I was just looking at, and they, I think, finished 4-8 last season, but even if you go, 6-6, you get to a bowl game, that's money that you get that you would not. So it means so much for these MAC schools, for the group of 5 schools, just to make a bowl game because of the payout. And that's why I know that, the Mid-American Conference will cling so tightly to Tuesday Night Maction, because that TV revenue is special that nobody else can get a hold of.
Yeah, I mean, you see those games, you see the attendance. I mean, it's been about the ESPN Tuesday Night Maction for a long time for a lot of them. I don't know if there's been permanent damage or not. I don't know. I don't know what that's like on those campuses.
I forgot that Joe Moorhead was Akron's head coach, and man, what a fall for him. Well, I mean, because it was just a few years ago, He was supposedly one of the best coordinators in the game and one of the most sought-after head coaches out there, and it has just not worked out for him.
He replaced Dan Mullen at Mississippi State.
And just ever since.
Yeah.
Also, never forget Ohio beat Miami 38-3 in the Mid-American Conference Championship game.
I think there's value for them. I do. I think if you could play for a championship, it would matter, and I think you'd get some. I think the television would come back, and I think you do a bracket. People love a bracket. I think you see one. Yeah, it's interesting. You bring up Moorhead. I do have that right. He did follow Mullen, right? When Mullen went to Florida, he was before Leach.
Sounds right.
I think he was before Leach. I don't think he was because he's been at Akron for 3 or 4 years now. I don't think did he follow Leach or did he follow Mullen?
Penn State.
He followed Mullen at Mississippi State 2017
after Dan Mullen. Correct.
Okay. So there was the NBA game was the Cavs were up 20. So during a commercial, I bounced over and the SEC network was doing like SEC football, the history, and they were talking about the year that Mississippi State with Dak Prescott, the first ever college football playoff rankings. Mississippi State was number 1. They were number 1, and Ole Miss was in the top 5. So Ole Miss was somewhere in the top 5 or 10, but Mississippi State was the number 1. They had College Game Day there. Mullen was there with Dak Prescott. They beat Auburn, who was ranked in the top 5 at Mississippi State to do all of this. By the way, Clay Hall, thrilled that we're talking this much Bulldogs on a random first Friday in May. But it got me thinking a little bit about Mullen. And he's at UNLV now. He's in Ohio when he was with Urban at Florida. Then he took the job at Mississippi State and kind of like maxed out, or maybe that was his perception, that he maxed out what Mississippi State could be. And then he took that job at Florida, which was probably one of the only jobs he would leave Mississippi State for. And it went terribly because he made that crazy comment at a press conference. You remember this? Where he was talking about recruiting and how he wasn't going to worry about recruiting in season. That was kind of what the undoing of him was that comment. And now after 3 years on TV, he's back at UNLV. But I just thought about sometimes you don't realize how good you got it until you don't. And he was on top of the mountain at Mississippi State in 2014. Like that happened 11 years ago. All of those things happened. Some painful losses. Some of the folks on social Doyle with this one. This one would be there's a sliding doors one here. Most painful and impactful loss is the 1976 Rose Bowl. That UCLA win prevented Archie and Corny Green from a natty, and Woody was rumored to have planned to retire with a win, which means the Gator Bowl the next year never happens. Still hurts. The 76 Rose Bowl. Matt, the Bengals versus Rams Super Bowl. I felt the true devastation when Aaron Donald blew up that last play. They were up 2 scores early in the game. The other thing about that Bengals loss is it just felt like with Burrow, they were a team of destiny. And it was like, he's going to drive them down there and score. That just was the feeling of it. Here's a good one from President Bush. 2022, Georgia's the worst loss to me. How do you go into the fourth quarter up 14 and lose to Stetson Bennett? That one's pretty painful. That's a tough one.
Like inches. I mean, that final field goal.
And you probably, I feel more, I'm with him on that one more. A lot of people will point to Clemson, Justin's freshman year, where like 10 things had to happen to lose to that
Burrow's
Clemson game.
there. TCU's there if you beat Georgia.
Yeah, Burrow was waiting. That's the problem.
That team.
Burrow was waiting, and Chase and Jefferson and all of that. And you would have given him more than Clemson would have, but that LSU team was next level. That Bama team in 20 was that. But you're right, 2022, it's TCU. And that's a pretty advantageous spot to be in. We'll ask Jake Trotter what his most painful losses as a fan are. We'll also ask him about a guy we know quite a bit. He wrote a pretty interesting story about that includes some really interesting anecdotes from our great friend Mark Pantoni. We'll have that for you in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees, Wilson, to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means drains, more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks, trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. This Mother's Day, be direct. Tell Mom she shines without saying a word. At Diamonds Direct, we've curated a meaningful collection of timeless gifts for every budget, from birthstone rings and stackables to diamond pendants, pearls, and stunning earrings. So here's to Mom for her love, her strength, and always putting others first. This year, she deserves a gift that lasts a lifetime, and that's our specialty. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed it is, and he joins on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline every single week at this time. In light of what happened last night with the Cavs, we were trying to be cathartic. Most painful loss for you as a fan is what?
Playoff edition?
Could be.
I would have to. So, two stick out, and they were in the same season. 2016 NBA, Thunder playing Golden State during the regular season. I was at this game. Incredible game, goes to overtime, and Steph Curry hit a 50-foot three to win the game. So that set the stage for the Western Conference Finals that year. Thunder are up 3-1. Cleveland remembers this season because they won the title that year. Thanks to the Thunder wearing down the Warriors, I should say. And Thunder up 3-1. They're in Oklahoma City, Game 6. I think it's 3-2 at this point. OKC is up 20 in the first half, and Klay Thompson hits like 25 three-pointers in a row to win the game in an epic comeback. And within 2 weeks, Kevin Durant was playing for Golden State. So that stretch was pretty... I remember I was at a 4th of July parade. We just had our first child, our daughter, and it was like the first event we had taken her to. It was like a neighborhood 4th of July parade. News breaks out that Kevin Durant is leaving to go to Golden State, and the parade just like ended. Like the party, everybody just went home organically. Everybody was like so shocked by what had happened. It like ended the festivities, and 4th of July was ruined for like a decade in Oklahoma City after that.
I always tell people that I think it's forgotten a little bit because he didn't stay there, like how good he made them the next couple of years. And I think sometimes it gets lost a little bit in the Warriors kind of mythology. But one thing I always tell people about is the hit that Durant took on that was unbelievable. Jake, you probably remember this because you're an OKC guy, but he did a movie called Thunder Up that was basically a Space Jam knockoff. And my kids watched it all the time when they were kids. Like, Kevin Durant was beloved. There wasn't anybody who had anything negative to say about him before he went to Golden State. Nobody.
No, he was, you got to remember Oklahoma City had never had pro sports before.
Right.
Until the Thunder moved there in 2008. He was basically the first pro sports star that the state had ever had. Like, he was inducted into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame while he was still with the Thunder. And we kind of lived, when we lived downtown, we lived like around the corner from him. And like my wife would take our dog out, for a walk, and she would see him. Like, everybody knew where he lived. No one bothered him. It was, there was like a little like bar around the street, restaurant he used to hang out at. Like it really was kind of a idyllic scene in terms of pro sports in a city that had never had that before. And he was the most beloved athlete, maybe in the history of the state for a while. And I don't think that part of it was that he left. But if he had left and gone to Boston or the Knicks or Miami, I think it would have gone down a little bit differently. The bitterness came from the fact that he went to the team that had just eliminated them, their rival, kind of who they were battling with. It would be like if Donovan Mitchell left and went to Boston, right? And multiply that times 5. LeBron to the Heat was kind of similar, I guess, in a lot of ways. But yeah, and you know what? I think Durant was chasing something that he never was able to find. And there's something to be said about winning a title. Myles Garrett told me this. There's something to be said about being the Dirk Nowitzki, whatever city you're in, winning the title with the team that drafted you and playing for that team the entire time. And, it doesn't seem like Durant has really been, I don't want to speak for him, but the fact that he's bounced around, his teams haven't been very good despite the talent. He's probably going to be on another team next year. I don't know that he ever found what he was looking for, even though he won 2 titles.
And also, I think much like LeBron, was not ever comfortable being the villain. Like all of us, the same thing happened to LeBron in Miami. He was like, wait, people hate me?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. They do. All right.
LeBron came back to Cleveland, though, and won a title. And
he did.
Those stories went a little bit differently. If Durant had gone back to Oklahoma City, and I don't know, maybe he still could, and won a title, it would end differently. But there's a reason you saw Russell Westbrook in Game 1 get a standing ovation from that crowd. Like, people view Westbrook very differently than they view Durant and I guess even James Harden as well. Because Westbrook, even though he eventually left, he stayed when it mattered.
Yeah, he did. And he played his rear end off the whole time he was there.
And he kicked our butt the other night, too, which was weird to watch.
It was, yeah. You wrote a story that published today on the general manager position in college football and how it has evolved, and now they are among the most powerful people in the sports. Fascinating read. You can find it at ESPN. It's all over the college football main page. First time I met Mark Pantoni was when Urban took the job, and he had reached out to us at Channel 10 because they needed some video enhancements in the Woody Hayes, and he sent one of his guys over to get a bunch of tape because they just didn't have. They needed to make the Woody Hayes cooler. And so I've called him, this is going back since 2012, I've always referred to him around town as the ambassador of cool. When people ask me, like, what's Mark do? I'm like, he's the general manager. He's the ambassador of cool. That's his job. And he's been the best at it for a long time. And so your piece kind of plays that out as his position has become critical, but also one of the most influential. And he was kind of doing it before anybody else, thanks in large part to Urban, because he started doing this in Florida.
When you walk into the Woody, by the way, it's really cool. All the art they have up. But, and I don't know what the Woody looked like 10 years ago, but it is like really cool to walk into now. No. So I always find myself when I'm waiting, just like looking at all the different photographs they have up. Yeah. I mean, and people that we talked to a lot of people in the sport, me and Max Olson, who I did the story with, and people in those positions, we unprompted brought up Pantoni as like the gold standard for what a college GM is. And there's this little bit of tension right now between guys that came up through the college ranks and now have those positions and guys who are coming from the NFL and taking those positions. And a lot of the guys that came up, have come up through college, they point to Pantoni as like, that's the guy you need to emulate, not Lombardi or, Jim Nagy or Pat Stewart, who Nebraska just hired from the Patriots, Nick Polk from the Falcons, who Florida just hired. They point to Pantoni and look at what he's done, not just over the last several years, but especially last year, because the roster they put together was spectacular. We knew it was spectacular before the season started. That's why everybody thought Ohio State would and eventually did win the national championship. So he's been doing it a long time. I pointed out, he was doing it before people were even calling these positions GMs. I don't even know what they called them back then, but before the title of GM really existed in college sports. He was doing it and doing it at a high level, and has done it under different regimes, and continues to, be the gold standard for this position and what it has been and what it is going to be. And it's only going to get more and more important, because whenever this House settlement goes into effect, you're going to have a salary cap. You're only going to be able to spend a certain amount of money. Now, outside NIL will get involved probably early, but how long is that going to last? Right?
Yep.
There's probably going to be some diminishing returns on that. There's not unlimited funds, especially when you're investing money in different ways from the outside in. So you're going to have to make really tough decisions like they do in the NFL. Do we want to pay a corner this amount of money, or are we going to invest in our offensive line? Are we going to go get a premium pass rusher, or are we going to try to get the best receiving core that we can? These are decisions that are going to fall to the head coaches to some degree, but the GMs definitely across the country.
I think he's as critical to the success here over the last decade plus as Urban or Ryan. I really mean that. I think, and that's the thing. Like when I saw the Lombardi hire, and I'm reading your story, you see this pushback from the people who came up in this, and the Lombardi hire jumps out just because they've been so top of mind lately. But like college football, and this is relationships. You have to have relationships with high school coaches. You have to have relationships with guys who run camps. You have to have relationships with people who Mike Lombardi wouldn't even know who these people are. I mean, he's starting from scratch. Anybody coming from the NFL without a college football background, they're starting from scratch when it comes to recruiting.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I talked to a lot of people when I was at the Combine, especially. I just brought this up casually to as many people as I could. Are you, have you thought about this, or do you know people in your departments who are thinking about this? And it was like, I was blown away by how much chatter there is in the NFL. I'm not talking about like the GM necessarily, but like everybody under that, because the money is getting significant at the college level.
Yes.
And, sometimes you get into these, NFL roles, you get capped out. Like unless, one of your buddies gets a job elsewhere, like you really can't ascend any higher. So you're you sort of plateau. And this is a way to, grow your career, get a new challenge, run a department you're on your own. There's only 32 GM jobs in the NFL. So there are a lot of people that are interested, from just area scouts to, people who are personnel executives in these college jobs. And we've seen many of those people, whether it's Mike Martin from Detroit to Notre Dame, or, Pat Stewart from the Patriots to Nebraska, Jim Nagy, who got interviewed for the New York Jets GM job before taking the Oklahoma GM job. Like there's a lot of interest in these positions. I think what's going to be interesting is, whether these NFL people have the type of success that leads to more, or they struggle to compile talent and, there's a backlash against it. I don't know, as James Blanchard, who's probably the most respected GM in the country, other than Pantoni, they have just been on fire in the transfer portal lately and in recruiting as well. He admitted, like, nobody knows what the right model is. And we're going to find out in the coming years. So it's going to be fascinating. But I will say recruiting is always going to be important, but it is going to be different. And just like with Nico at Tennessee to UCLA, like, he might love it there. He might have a great relationship with the coaches, but if he doesn't get the money he wants, he's going to leave. And we're going to see more and more of that going forward. So it is going to come down in some cases, in a lot of cases, to, managing your money and managing your resources in a way that optimizes your football team. And I think that's where NFL people have the experience and believe that they can, get an edge versus, the college GMs who have been recruiting and come up that way.
Such a crazy the way that the sport has changed over the last decade. Great stuff. I encourage you to read the piece, GM Position, the New Gold Standard. It is on ESPN.com. It published this morning. Jake's all over it. Appreciate your time, buddy. We'll do it again soon next week.
All right. Hopefully the Cavs and Thunder are still alive by then.
I think Thunder.
They better win tonight, Bo. They better win tonight, or this NBA season is going to go horribly wrong for us.
Could go horribly wrong for everybody. Yeah, you're exactly right, buddy. All right, good stuff. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later.
All right, we'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All all the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Give your liver the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to newnordicusa.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Fish has been named the third best sports program director in the country. The two dudes who finished ahead of him are dead. So we're declaring him the winner. You're listening to the home of champions, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's. Open until midnight or later.
Social media is fun, but it's not the whole picture. Comparing yourself to what you see online can be stressful. For more tips on reducing stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Oh, 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a first Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Earlier today, the Utah Hockey Club made it official. The Utah Mammoth is the new team name for that club. Utah has spoken. A new Ice Age dawns. They've got some pretty cool Mammoth logos. It's a good second place, I think, to the Utah Yeti. Thing or not a thing?
I think you hit it. I think that once their original was bounced by the Yeti, cooler manufacturer company, once they couldn't do that, I think this is a pretty good pivot. I'm glad they didn't go Utah Hockey Club. I think the Mammoth is pretty cool. The color scheme feels like, we see a lot of these type of color schemes, like the black and then some shade of blue. There's a reason for that. It sells a lot of merch. The one thing that I do think is pretty funny on this is it always just cracks me up the way that they hide all of this stuff in the logo. Like there's a Utah somewhere in the mountain range behind amidst the back of the mammoth's head for Utah and tusks up and all of this stuff. The other thing that I think is really funny is how they do, they get these companies who do this branding for them, and they get them to come up with the wordplay on the colors. So rock black, it can't just be black. It's got to be rock black. So rock black is described on their messaging as the darkness of night in the mountains and the volcanic rock of Utah's deserts. Rock black. Mountain blue, boys, you'll be happy to know, Utah's rich winter sports history and its clear skies for more than 230 days a year. So it's the anti-Ohio. Lots of sun in Utah, apparently. But I don't know what that has to do with their rich sports history. The winter rich sports. Why is it blue? So that's mountain blue. Then salt white, the snow on Utah's peaks and the infamous salt flats. Okay, that's fine. But is it a slightly off-white or is it white? Like in the imaging, it kind of looks like it's off-white, but then I see it on the jerseys and it looks like it's white. And the salt flats are not white, like it's almost a little cream. But that stuff always breaks that just kills me. Like rock black. Okay, it's black. Settle down.
Bo, it's because if you want a Utah Mammoth room at your house, you got to go get mountain black. Or, black mountain blue or black rock from Sherwin-Williams to get the paint right.
I guess that's how you do it.
That's what you got to do there. Again, their first name, obviously, it's no secret. They wanted the Yeti. Mm-hmm. The Yeti cooler brands blocked that from them, which I still think is ridiculous. I think there's some kind of partnership you could have formed there and really made that work and sold it. I do think it's cool that they tried to incorporate the mountains into the logo, but I don't love the Mammoth logo on this jersey, quite frankly. It kind of looks like when the Buffalo Sabres redid their jerseys back in the 90s, and I don't think that ever took, and I just don't love the Mammoth here, but I will say the color scheme is perfect, and it's a good pivot out of them.
Yeah, the tusks are pointing up, but on the Predators, the tooth is pointing down. So it's, it looks like the Sabres, but you just did a different animal.
It's kind of the Predators had this a little bit, and then the Sabres had it. I do think that there will be an opportunity to do some faux back, because there is no throwback, obviously, but I bet they'll be able to do some faux back Mammoth stuff that's going to be pretty cool that they could do off of it as a one-off.
On a recent appearance on the Zach Lowe Show, NBA reporter Howard Beck reported Giannis Antetokounmpo has expressed interest in playing for Los Angeles, New York, or Miami if he were to leave the Milwaukee Bucks. Quote, the initial thing I got from one person was some rumblings that it's already just the big cities. One of the LA teams, one of the New York teams, or maybe Miami. Not a big market, but a glamour market, mid-sized market, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
I mean, he just did a contract. I don't think they can even move him until like 2029. I always assumed that he would end up in Miami. I mean, Miami is the most European adjacent city we have, and so I assumed that he would end up in Miami at some point. I thought it would happen a long time ago, honestly, but he kept redoing these contracts and keep getting big contracts. He's aging, so it's like, would you give up to get him? Like, what would the Lakers give if it is a trade? Because it's going to have to be a trade. He's not a free agent. What would the Lakers have to get him? What could the Clippers have to get him? All of their assets are old. Like the teams with assets young that you would want to acquire or that you would take back in exchange for Giannis and draft picks. It's like it's Oklahoma City, it's Utah, it's those type of teams that have cap space and picks. And those aren't places he's going to want to go.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for, as you say, like the Lakers to get him. But, man, doesn't Giannis and Luka just seem like the next transition for them? Like it would be perfect. LeBron leaves, Giannis comes in, and the Lakers continue to roll.
How old is he? Is he 30 yet? He's 30. Yeah. It's just, you're headed towards the end of it, man.
I had forgotten Scott Frost returned to South Florida in the offseason.
Did you?
Central Florida, excuse me. He signed a 5-year, $22 million extension, or $22 million contract that will automatically extend for a year if the Knights appear in a bowl game this season. An executive summary of Frost's contract was attained by the Associated Press on Tuesday through an open records request. Frost can earn bonuses of $75,000 for reaching a conference championship game, $50,000 for winning a conference title, $100,000 for appealing in a college football playoff game, an additional $100,000 for winning one, with a first-round bye also deemed as a win. He'll receive bonuses for his team ranking in the top 20 nationally in any of 8 designated statistical categories. Remember, UCF won that championship in, 2017? They're undefeated. Thing or not a thing.
Allegedly. I don't think the contract is anything. I do think that isn't a thing at all for us, but I do think that Scott Frost being back at Central Florida is a wild thing. And I think it's made even more wild by the fact that he didn't win at Nebraska. Like, once he didn't win there after winning at Central Florida, I was like, if he can't win there, I don't think anybody can. And maybe it would have been different with NIL if he would have had NIL there. I don't know. We'll see if Matt Rule can get it going a little bit, but he's going to have to stack some classes. But if he can't win at Nebraska, I just thought nobody could. And it went terribly for him there.
Scott Frost obviously has a pretty good track record at UCF. It's amazing that things didn't work out at Nebraska. As we talked about yesterday, he was the coach. There was no doubt. No. That's who Nebraska was hiring, legend there, all of it. And for whatever reason, it just did not work out. Maybe he can find some of that UCF magic again.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's a monster university in terms of the size of enrollment. I think it's around 70,000 students at UCF. It's one of the biggest in the country. Final hour on a First Friday up next. We get you officially endorsed. We kick it off with a little Hey Guys. The best one receives that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank and the Distillery Tour for up to 10. Get them in now. Still time. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born. And before Abraham Lincoln was born, trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic or our new Cheddar Blast flavor made with real cheddar cheese. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Join the Reds and their quest for the coveted Ohio Cup in a weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians, May 16th through the 18th. On Saturday, May 17th, rev your engines for Reds Racing Night to celebrate the Reds' participation in this summer's MLB Speedway Classic at Bristol. Fans in attendance will receive a Mr. Reds race car bobblehead presented by Kroger while supplies last. Secure your seats now at reds.com/tickets.
Hey, it's Anthony. You know what the slogan is at the Good Feet store? Good feet, good life. Friends have asked me, how are my personally fit arch supports different from the inserts and insoles they can buy online or in department stores? There are big differences. My Good Feet arch supports are designed to provide me firm yet flexible function. What does that do? They actually help correct poor foot biomechanics, which leads to providing me long-term pain relief. I was also the guy who thought, well, if I buy good shoes, my feet won't hurt. It wasn't a bad thought. A lot of people think shoes are always the problem, when in reality, it's often the foot that goes into the shoe that's the real source of discomfort. When I got my personally fit Good Feet arch supports, my feet felt stabilized. The pain and discomfort went away. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people just like me discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. They're on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise.
Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle and Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Want to learn about Pick 4 from the Ohio Lottery? Okay. Pick 4 is a daily draw game where you pick 4 individual numbers between 0 and 9 that can be played straight, where each number must be drawn in an exact order or box where they can be drawn in any order. You can win up to $2,500 on a 50-cent bet. Learn more at OhioLottery.com or the Ohio Lottery app. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want to go back to the radio? Okay.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, bonjour. Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese. Sir, the Steelers agreed to a deal earlier today to send wide receiver George Pickens to the Cowboys in exchange for a third-round pick in 26 and a fifth-rounder in 27. The 24-year-old Pickens caught 3 touchdowns and had 900 yards receiving last season. In the NBA last night, Tyrese Halliburton's 3 with a second left lifted the Pacers past the Cavaliers 120-119 in Cleveland for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semis. Cavs blew a 20-point second-half lead and now trail 2-0 in the best-of-7. Indiana will host Game 3 Friday night. In the association tonight, the Celtics host the Knicks at 7 o'clock in Game 2 of their Eastern Conference semis. New York leads 1-0. Also on the court, Game 2 of the Western Conference semis. OKC trails Denver 1-0. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday. Time for a little Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations: Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
And when you're talking about High Bank, you're talking about that best blended whiskey in America 3 years running. The winner here gets that $50 gift card and the distillery tour and tasting for up to 10. Make your reservations at highbankco.com. Drink local, drink High Bank. Go ahead, Reese.
All right, we'll start in the YouTube chat. This one's more of an update from a Hey Guys question asked last week by Dustin. He says, hey guys, no question, just an update on my Hey Guys from last week. I proposed and she said yes.
Let's go.
All right, Dustin.
He adds, he just did it simple and involved our families and kids. So, Dustin, from all of us here, as you just heard from those two, congratulations. And
That's
best
awesome.
wishes.
That's awesome.
I don't know why you did it, but good for you, Dustin.
He did it for companionship.
Love and stuff.
And growth of family and all of those things. Yeah, good job for him.
Philip asks, hey guys, and this is specifically for Bo, and Baker, you can chime in on this as well. What bourbon are you sipping for 2025?
I mean, a great many. I always have a bottle of High Bank near and dear. Since they've dropped their bourbon at the turn of the year, that's been one that is always on the shelf and ready to go. So they always do a very good job on that. I will tell you that not so much as a style of bourbon outside of that, but in terms of a way to consume it that I really look forward to this time of year is as follows. And this will be an officially endorsed at some point in the summer. But if you take a rocks glass, fill of rocks, you fill it with the bourbon of your choice, and then you put a twist of lemon on it. It is a delight in the summer months. And I will just add one other accoutrement to that. If you can find, Hubs makes an incredible salted extra large peanut. That's as good a snack as you're going to do. Bourbon with a twist on the rocks with a little bit of, I mean, my mouth is watering. It's so good. That's a big win. So that'll be something that we look forward to in terms of a way of consuming it coming up.
We've already talked about that I have been lucky enough to get my hands on some of the High Bank bourbon, and it has been a hit. I took it to the state basketball championships, and everybody there loved it. So that, of course, is a good one. I've got three kind of go-tos, Bo, that I always have and that I always do. One is a no-brainer, right? Eagle Rare, and I'm lucky enough to have some bottles now in my possession, so that's number one. I'm a big fan of the Traveler, the Chris Stapleton. I always have that on top of the fridge. And then the one that you can find anywhere. I'm a big Four Roses guy, all of it. I have the small batch select always on hand at my house. So those are my three that I kind of, along with the High Bank, that I'm always sipping on.
One that from just kind of a, hey, let's have a special moment. I always have a bottle of Elmer T. Lee at the ready, just in case, because that's an all-timer for me.
Scotty Vegas and I went and grabbed lunch at the after the call-in show on Sunday, and we went around the corner here to the new JT's Pizza. They have a great selection of bourbons over there, and they have the Elmer T. Lee.
There you go.
And their pizza's great as well. Hunter asks on Twitter, hey guys, I need a First Friday recommendation that can also help cure or dull my current illness acquired from my kids.
I'll tell you what, I can give you one of those coming up at 11:50, Hunter. I'll take care of you because we're dealing with, I know that people are there's a lot of sickness stuff going around still. It's wild. But I'll get you one as you're officially endorsed here at 11:50.
So this is probably hard for him since he has kids, and maybe this is just a me thing, but I have always been, even when I was younger, my mom always said she knew when I was getting sick because I would come home from school, I would go to bed, and I would not wake up till the next morning. Usually that's all I need is a great, long, nice night's sleep.
Good luck convincing a kid to do that.
I know.
They will fight you.
I know.
No matter what. There's zombies walking around barely holding their heads up, and you'll say go to bed, and they're like, 5 more minutes. Constantly.
Zachary asks on Twitter, hey guys, new parents, and this is my wife's first Mother's Day. Any recommendations on things to do?
Whatever she wants. Look, guys, don't overthink some of this stuff. Sometimes just do what it feels like is the right thing to do. So if you can work in a nice brunch, take her out to dinner. If she's a new mom, I think one thing that they definitely love is any sort of spa day experience as a gift, because then it's just silence and they can kind of the one thing you lose right away as a parent is your own time. It's gone. It's extinct. And new moms definitely lose that right away. So I definitely recommend that. I recommend a brunch or a nice dinner or something like that, something where they don't have to do anything. And then the short answer for Sunday is quite honestly just whatever she wants. That's the way to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows her like you. You know what she enjoys, what she likes, those things. That's what you need to do.
All right, Norm asks on the YouTube chat, hey guys, you can only watch one 80s, 90s action film and one 80s, 90s comedy movie for the rest of time. What are you picking? I had some advanced scouting on this, so I picked Commando for my action film. I picked Caddyshack for my comedy film.
Wedding Crashers would be the movie.
Wedding Crashers is 2000s, though. 05.
So I can't have that? Okay. Rest of my life. I might go Trading Places then as my comedy. Because I'm thinking rest of my life, there's some other things that work out well there for when you think about watching one movie the rest of your life. So I'm going to go Trading Places and action. It's very difficult for me to not go Commando. I think it's kind of like the perfect action movie, but since you went there, First Blood is also one of my favorite, but that's awful depressing. So I'm going to go Die Hard. I'm going to go Die Hard, and I'm going to go, and I'll go Trading Places as the comedy.
This is very easy for me because these are probably both my two favorite movies of all time. Now, maybe you don't think this one is an action movie. I'm not sure, but the comedy is Tommy Boy, no brainer. And the action movie for me is The Fugitive. I don't know if you think that's action or not, but those are my two favorite.
It's definitely action. I mean, it's honestly one of the best movies of the last 50 years. There is just one thing, like, why didn't, the guy who actually did it, why didn't he just tell on him as soon as he saw him? Like, as soon as the cops went to see him, oh, yeah, Richard, I saw him did it this morning. He was just here. And then that solves it. Like, then Kimball can't track you down. Like, you're guilty. He's guilty. The Chicago cops don't care. They don't care about it being it. The U.S. Marshals don't care. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. It's the iconic line from the movie.
So great.
Nobody cares. Like, all he had to do is just say, yeah, I just saw Richard Kimball this morning. Just call 911 from his car phone. Richard Kimball, the corner of wherever in Chicago. Movie's over. That's it. He goes back to death row. It's done. But it's still great.
Nathan asks on Twitter real quick, hey guys, let's keep the trend going from last week. Who wins in a fight? 100 Don Zimmers or 1 Pedro Martinez?
It's 1 Pedro Martinez versus 100 Don Zimmers.
Yeah, you
Don
just
Zimmers.
pile on Pedro.
Pile on. Yeah, Pedro's a little guy. He does not have superhuman strength like a silverback would.
That one's easy. It's got to be the 100 Don Zimmers.
Yeah, we did get one on the X platform that's pretty good. You get to watch one TV show or movie over and over again for the first time. What would you pick? Let's do the TV show. Race. What TV show would you erase the viewing experience from your memory and start over from scratch?
I think I would do Eastbound and Down. Because it was just the first season was just so spectacular.
It really was, yeah.
I want to have that experience back. And then movie?
Yeah, you can do a movie too. See it for the first time.
Probably Star Wars. A New Hope.
There's a lot of long dead period in that, buddy. Luke's a brat for about the first hour.
This is such a tough one. I think maybe TV show. Maybe I would go NYPD Blue.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one, and a lot of drama in that. And we talked about this, I think, just earlier in the show, but I'll never forget the first 30 minutes of the South Park movie. Like, I opened a beer when we started that, and I didn't take a drink for 30 minutes. I was just laughing dying so hard. So I think I would like to have that experience again.
All right, I'll go TV show. So I think about what is one that landed the plane that's long enough that, because I really enjoy that, like a long run. I think that's pretty solid. And that also landed the plane. I would probably go Sopranos as the TV show that I would watch again. As I've rewatched it with my wife in COVID, and she loved it. She'd never seen it. She loved it. I really enjoyed it. That one would be way up there. Mad Men is another one that would be way up there for me. because I think you kind of get to land the plane part of it. Game of Thrones was probably the most fun I had watching something, but they just butchered the end of it so badly. I don't know if I'd want to go through that again. The most fun movie experience I ever had in my life in terms of seeing something like I've never seen before was Pulp Fiction. When I went to Pulp Fiction in the theater, I'd never seen anything like it. And I remember like my brother and I and my uncle went. We talked about it for an hour and a half afterwards. Like what just happened. That experience was crazy. All right, so we got to pick a winner here.
We do.
That's where we're at. We could do Philip. Did he have the what are you sipping on?
Just sipping on, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. You get it. And you're going to get a taste to see what we're sipping on because we both mentioned High Bank's bourbon, and now you're going to get a taste. $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. The distillery tour as well. The tasting for up to 10. High Bank Distillery is home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running, located right here in town. Stop by High Bank's 3 locations, Grandview, Gahanna, Westerville. Enjoy their award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. Make your reservations at highbankco.com. Drink local. Drink High Bank. Coming up next, we're going to dig in a little bit on Jake Trotter's piece on the general manager position in college football and how Ohio State is already ahead of the game. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
When it's time to ask life's biggest question, make sure your ring says it all. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar, and we've been helping couples say yes for over 78 years. From brilliant cuts to better prices, the quality and selection of our diamonds is unmatched. Because diamonds aren't just our business, they're our legacy. Visit us at Diamond Cellar on Selmo Road or Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondcellar.com. Bigger diamonds, better prices, guaranteed.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10 TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
That's are us. When dreams don't end, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't end, that's are us.
Oh, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no! Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
Most Ohioans believe every student, regardless of zip code, income, or background, deserves a great public education. And it's Ohio's dedicated public school educators who make that possible. This Teacher Appreciation Week, join the Ohio Education Association in saying thank you. Tell us about a teacher making a big impact and they could win a vacation package from NEA member benefits or other great prizes, including pizza for their students. Go to ohea.org to nominate a teacher, because public education matters.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking at a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-70s will be dropping back to the 50s tonight as clouds increase. Scattered showers look likely throughout the day on Thursday. Those will end Thursday night. We'll be back to dry weather but cooler for the weekend and plenty of sunshine for your Mother's Day. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody. Work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, starting Monday, new Morning Juice with Bob and Tito. That is 6 to 8 a.m. on the Fan's YouTube channel, the Fan 3 on HD Radio and the Fan app. You download the Fan app today. Then 10 to noon, you can watch it on 10 TV Plus, the free streaming app download available on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. You can download that today as well. And then here on the Fan, 6 to 9, T-Bone. Maybe that should be the show. T-Bone and
New
Tybone.
names.
New name, T-Bone. That's your new morning show. That's 6 to 9. Look forward to those guys. That starts on Monday. Then 9 to noon will be us, of course. Noon to 3, Rothman and Ice unchanged. Then 3 to 6, Common Man and Timmy. And then 6 to 8, The Buckeye Show with Brandon Beam. So that is your new lineup right here on the Fan starting on Monday. Some of this stuff in the Jake Trotter piece that he just published this morning at ESPN on the general manager job in college football is pretty interesting. There is one from a longtime Pat staffer. Here's a quote. He said, he's currently in the college football world. I don't have a lot of experience in college football right now, but I could have been in the business for 15 years. I'd probably be on the same plane that everybody else is, right? Because everything's changing and everything's adjusting. I would push back against that pretty dramatically. Because while, yes, it is changing, there are very few similarities between a college football job and an NFL job. There are no caps. Everybody can spend whatever they want. There's no limit to what they can spend or what they couldn't. I think a lot of people in this business think that the House ruling is going to change things fundamentally about how guys are acquired. I disagree completely. I think it's going to be mostly about relationships, and I think recruiting is still going to be the bedrock of everything that happens. They try to use in this piece, one of the guys Jake Trotter talked to tried to use the Nico Amalieva case as a case for see, he wasn't happy. Well, here's the part that guy doesn't remember about that case. Nico was always a where's the biggest bag guy. If you're going to be in business with the where's the biggest bag guys, then that's a choice. Now, Tennessee had to do it because Heupel was trying to, get some sort of get a little foothold in the position, much similarly to what Sharon Moore did at Michigan when they gave Underwood all the money. They needed it. And they needed that win in recruiting. At Ohio State, they don't have to do that. And I think this quote from a Big 12 director of player personnel kind of says it all in regard to NFL guys thinking they can just come in and handle it. And I think this is on point. Quote, that's the thing that pisses me off. A bunch of people talk about all these GMs from the NFL, and I want to yell from the mountaintops. There's a GM in college football at Ohio State who's the best in the game, right? He's been there the last decade. I would take notes from Mark Pantoni and start there. Yeah, I would too. That would be the jumping off point. The infrastructure guys that Urban brought here, if you think about Volt and you think about Pantoni and you think about Mickey Marotti, you think about those guys. I used to call them the I guys. All their names ended in I. So the I guys, those guys, Those are ground floor guys who have adapted as the sport has changed to stay at the cutting edge of it. There is such a value in that. I just think it's absolute folly if you think this sport is going to be mostly about what the NFL is about, which is manipulating the cap. That's not where we're headed. We are not headed there. There is no scenario that I can see in the distant future where the $20 million, which, by the way, has to be spread out over the entire athletic department, is what you're managing. That's not going to be this job. That's not going to be this job next year. It's not going to be that job in 5 years. In fact, I think the only chance that you're going to get to a point where you're actually managing a salary cap is going to be if this goes the pro model, which we've talked about all the time, and there actually is a salary cap, and football is privatized, and you're paying out of that cap. But that's still, even still, they're not going to get rid of the recruiting aspect of it. You still have to convince little Timmy to sign on the line, which is dotted. And that's about relationships.
Yeah, there's that goofy clearinghouse that's part of this settlement that'll have schools enter, fill out a form on the web about deals that are over $600. But, like, I don't think it says anywhere that there's going to be enforcement if you do not do that. So, like, what's the incentive for anybody to be like, oh, that's right, after we sign this deal, I got to head on to Deloitte.com and publish, this information. It's like, no, I'm not doing that.
There's just no safety.
Well, the enforcement isn't there, so whatever comes from this settlement, good luck with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to fundamentally change much. And I think you're still going to have to recruit. And I think one thing that the piece really focuses on is that NFL, guys who come up through the NFL ranks, whether that be as a scout and eventually become the head of personnel or assistant general manager, if there is, because there are only 32 of those jobs, and a job as an assistant general manager, head of player personnel in the NFL, that is not a lucratively paid job. Not certainly the way that it is in college. So they're going to try to apply their trades at the college game, but they're not going to have much of a damn clue about what happens in the college game because it's a totally different thing. Now, I could see it, and Jake made a great point when we had him on when he talked about, like, you kind of hit your head up against the wall. Like, if you haven't become a general manager at a certain point, will you ever? Because it's almost like you need one of your buddies to get a job in coaching or something, and you can go along for that ride. I think of Glenn Cook, who's up in Cleveland, who's assistant general manager, does a hell of a job for the Browns in terms of their college scouting. And he's been interviewed for NFL jobs before. He's very tight at the University of Miami. He played for the University of Miami. Is there a point where that is the more lucrative route because there's so much money in the college game going forward? But I do think it's complete folly to think that if you are in the NFL world and you drop into this world, all of a sudden you're going to know what you're doing. There's a great quote in here about Lombardi at North Carolina where somebody says, is Mike Lombardi giving Bill Belichick a list of 15 guys he has to call every night to make sure that he maintains relationships? Because if he isn't doing it, Dave Dorn is doing it. Great question. You have to do that in the NFL.
Imagine even trying to have that conversation with Bill. That, you've got to make these kids buy into your program. For decades, he was at New England, and everybody had to buy in. Everybody had to buy in, or else they were not long for that program. At UNC, if you want to be competitive, there's got to be buy-in, and you've got to kind of submit yourself to them on the recruiting trail first.
Yes.
He ain't doing that.
I think Ohio State's plan, Bake, I'm going to get you on this in a second. I think Ohio State's plan is still, I think you've even seen it in recruiting. Like, we are going to recruit like hell at the skill positions and the positions of high leverage, ones that can make immediate impact and ones that we can develop. We may not spend a bunch of money in NIL on a left tackle. What we'll do is we will go at that in the portal. You can develop them, and then we'll take them. It's very rare for a freshman tackle, a freshman defensive tackle. In the lines of scrimmage, it's so difficult to come in and make an impact right away. So I think Ohio State, their plan is pretty good. We're going to put all of the onus on the skill position talent, the money positions, corner, DN, those things. And then if we have to hit it in the portal, we'll let you develop them somewhere else, and then we'll swoop in and steal them from you. I think that's a pretty good plan.
I think it's one of the things with Ohio State, like we've talked about, they have the luxury to do this because it's not just a 5, 10, 15-year track record here. We talked about it. This goes all the way back to Woody Hayes. And it's also Ohio State has kind of been on the forefront of this with Panton. They were kind of ahead of the game with a guy like him, and they've just been able to 100%. Adapt and evolve. And it's one of the things I love about how they've handled the transfer portal. They plug and play, and then they get somebody that's extremely talented. If that person is available, they go get him. Other than that, we'll fill needs, but we really like the guys we got.
Yeah, they have the right mix of it right now. It's another example of it. We've had the right mix a lot over the last 50 years. Bill Bender on this, among other things, in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, 3-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, 2-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to lifesearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit lifesearch.com today.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time to head out on that Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with our good buddy Bill Bender, covers college football and, of course, NFL at the Sporting News. We'll be at Brown's rookie minicamp a little bit later on this week, so we'll get his thoughts on that. But I did want to start here. What is the worst coaching hire of your time covering college football? We discussed this a little bit yesterday. Or one that you got wrong, that you thought that'll hit and it didn't.
How about one that I got right, since I want to be on the air and be right? Remember when, so I believe it was the Petrino thing happened at Arkansas, and then they hired John L. Smith. Yep. And I just remember being in the Sporting News newsroom that day, and a couple guys were, "Oh, that's great, that's great." And I said something like, one of the guys I work with quoted me on, I said, "That's 6 losses guaranteed." And they ended up losing more. So that was one call that they remind me that I got right. There are probably several that I think Chip Kelly to UCLA I got wrong, although they were solid but never great.
Yeah, I think the thing that is, as we were having the discussion earlier in the week, and I was curious your perspective on it, is you're constantly reminded that Ohio State never had one of those. It's pretty amazing to go from Woody Hayes to Ryan Day, and every coach you hired is a Hall of Famer, because Ryan will be. I mean, they're all Hall of Famers. There's no other example of that in college football, Bill.
No, I mean, even Florida State, they had blips along the way. I would argue Jimbo through, and then they had Willie Taggart, and then Mike Norvell. It's been up and down. You're exactly right. I think with Ohio State, just that ability to, I talked to Dave Briggs at the plate about this a few times in our conversations. I said, you win 8 games at Ohio State. It's those other 4 that define your tenure.
Yeah, it's 50 years. No blip. Bama's had blips. Michigan, who Briggs would know very well, being right on the border there at Toledo. I've had a ton of blips, but they've never really had them. Speaking of Michigan, what do you make of what they are attempting to do with the Spygate and giving Sharon Moore the 2-game suspension?
Well, we're in year 3 of where we're talking about it.
Yep.
I never think that's a good thing for the program, and a couple things with Sharon. It means that there's some smoke or some fire, actually, to the text messages, and I'm sure we'll figure out what those said when the time comes. And then 2, it's interesting to me that they get to pick which games he's suspended.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying, I want to be there when we play Oklahoma. Granted, he did play at Oklahoma, so maybe it's that. But I bet Matt Rule puts that on the bulletin board that, hey, Sharon Moore would have rather played or coached against Oklahoma than you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure he does. And then it begs the question, and I don't have an answer for this, so I'm curious what yours is. What is appropriate in this day and age for this penalty? What's the sweet spot?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think – so here's why it's tough, because I think the fans care about the asterisk. And does it count? Does it count? Did they vacate these games? When in reality, those have never made any impact on me because I saw what I saw, right?
Yep.
Like, I watched the Fab Five. I watched Louisville win a national title. What was the last football team? I watched those USC teams with Leinart and Bush. It doesn't impact me. So I think it becomes wallet. It's always wallet to me. Can you take that away? Can you give them a postseason ban for a year? That would be – I don't know if that can be enforced, but, suspending the coaches, does that do anything for you, Bo, that Sharon Moore won't be on the sideline? Because we've already seen this for 2 years.
No, to me, I think it's the two things I always think about, buddy, when it comes about getting that pound of flesh right are finances and then recruiting. So if you said, listen, nobody at Michigan can go on the road to recruit for a year, that would have a penalty. A significant one, I do believe. And I do think if you hit them with the financial penalty of $50 million or something like that, that would have it's a pretty big effect on them as well. I think there's this assumption, you talk to people a lot around the sport, I think there's this assumption from fans that all of these college football programs are all operating like Scrooge McDuck diving in gold coins, and they're not. A lot of them are operating in the red. Now, some of it's of their own doing because they randomly decide to give people raises when they don't need to be or make straight coaches make $1 million a year. That's all part of it too. But the reality is there isn't money sitting in the couch at a lot of these places. So if you hit them financially, it will hurt them.
And the economics has changed of what we're spending on. So they're no longer spending on the arms race and the water fountain and the stuff in the facilities. They need players. You need players. That's where the money's going. That's where the NIL money's going. I think if you take some of that away, then you can't get the right players on the field, and then you're going to have problems. But to your point, these programs aren't rolling in money. Now, you'll get it from donors and those kind of things, but it is a tricky economic thing, and that was one class I wasn't good at in college. But I admit where I'm wrong. So I don't envy them trying to figure this equation out.
No, not at all. You're going to be up in Cleveland end of this week for Brown's rookie minicamp. There's a lot to pay attention to here. Two guys are kind of the face of college, really three, Q2. When you think about Quinshon Judkins up there, and you obviously think about Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, what will you be looking for there in regard especially to the two quarterbacks?
Intermediate passing, depending on how much we see it. That's where we're going to figure it out long term. We're not going to figure it out in that 20-minute window, but when they play in the preseason, who can pitch? Who can actually hit those passes in the 20-yard windows that have become a question with Shedeur Sanders and really a question with Dylan Gabriel? But everything I've read, and I know you and Nathan were talking about it on Browns Daily, Browns really like Dylan Gabriel. He's not getting cut. That's one thing. I looked, been a third-round pick, get quarterback cut a long time. Even like Kellen Mond stuck for a season. I think the Browns will keep him for the entire year. So the question becomes, what are they going to do with Shedeur?
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think from their perspective, they have 4. I do think, Bill, they could start this year with 4. That wouldn't surprise me. But I think you're probably right. Unless they're just way wrong on Gabriel, And you blew it, boy, which happens. To me, it'll be between Shedeur and Flacco for the final spot. I think they want to see what they have in Pickett, and I think Pickett will get every opportunity to be the guy right away. And I think if he's not starting the opener, then that tells you a lot about Kenny Pickett, because I think he's going to be given every opportunity. He's 26. He's a former first rounder. He's got 25 starts. He's 15-10 in those starts. Their feeling on it is that he was incompetently coached offensively in Pittsburgh. So let's see what he is. So, like, if he doesn't start the opener, then I think that's an indictment of Pickett.
Yeah, and Pickett had the same resume, if not better resume, in college than the other two guys. I mean, he was a Heisman final. Yeah, he's a very good player at Pitt. But so I won't be surprised either if they have the 4 quarterbacks. But I think if your move is you figure out which 3 you want and kind of try to trade one, showcase him a little bit in the preseason if they can. The other end of Shedeur, obviously, is that you can't ignore the jersey sales portion of this. And I know you're not going to keep a quarterback based on jersey sales. I understand that. But you also have to recognize that, yeah, he might bring, quote-unquote, circus to town, in which everybody's saying that, but he's also bringing a lot of money with him if that's happening.
Yeah, I think the thing you got to be, and I told this to all the folks out there, like, be careful with those early rookie jerseys. I think you're pretty safe getting Shedeur 12 if that's something that you covet. But a lot of those things change right before the season starts. So be a little bit careful there. Like, if number 2 is being worn by DeAndre Carter, who's kind of a journeyman wide receiver, like, he just got the number this year. Like, if that somehow doesn't, if it's possible he doesn't make the team, and then all of a sudden number 2 becomes available, and then do you switch? So something to be careful of there. I will get you out of here on this one. In light of what happened to the Cavaliers last night, and it certainly didn't make our list of most painful, we had a little cathartic experience earlier in the show, buddy, where we were trying to come up with the most painful losses for us as fans. What was your most painful fan loss?
Oh, I'm a Packers fan, as you know, so there's 2. Losing to Elway in the Super Bowl, and then I got a quick story. So when they lost to the Seahawks in that game where, the onside kick happened, I went to the store afterward to pick up my wife, who, Kimberly, it was her birthday the next day, so I went to go get a cake, and the cashier pointed out that I didn't have shoes on. So I walked out of the house so, distraught that I was barefoot in the what was the store? The Harris Teeter in Charlotte. So I'd say that one's got to rank up there. Barefoot in the store. And I didn't even respond. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, well, here's the money. I'll take this cake and go.
You weren't even. That's pretty. Well, yeah. That's distraught, buddy. That would work. Good
so I would
Lord.
say that was that qualifies as painful, though.
That does. Yeah. You're walking around shoeless. That'll do it, buddy. Great stuff as always. Look forward to seeing you later this week up in Cleveland, and appreciate your time as always.
My shoes, I promise. I'll talk to you then, folks. Later.
There it goes, Bill Bender at the Sporting News, of course. College football and NFL and the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, I don't know that I've done that. I've definitely done, as a kid, I remember just walking forever during sporting events, like painful losses. The ones that jumped out when I was a kid were mostly March Madness ones, like where I had a lot of invested in a team. Just to your point, Bake, like you had so much. You had the '92 Ohio State, like you have so much invested in those teams, and then it's just on a one-off, they're gone and evaporated. Those are tough ones. The best of 7 stuff, you can kind of see it coming. Those one-offs, you can't.
Just the joy of being a Browns and Reds fan. Just a lot of heartbreak over here, Bo.
You got the 4-0 sweep of the A's, though.
We did
Billy
get
Hatcher
that.
hit 780 in that thing. I mean, what do you need?
We did get that, and then we got 99 where we lose the one-game playoff. We got 2012 when they lose an 0-2 lead. They win the first 2 at San Francisco and then lose 3 in a row at home.
This guy's going, Reese is going, hold my beer. I'll give you game 7 in Miami. I'll give you game 7 in my own yard. Like, you want to talk about baseball pain. That's Jose Mesa on the mound is way up there on the baseball pain threshold. I think you beat him there, Reese, as he smiles coyly. Yes, I think I'm going to give Reese the win on that one. He also doesn't have the memory of a World Series championship either, Bake, over a historically good team.
That's the win Reese wanted here.
Yep, that's the one I want. Hang the banner.
Hang the banner for that. Get your officially endorsed in 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Guys, what's up? It's Matty Ice, and I'm here with Wendy's. And if you're looking for your next sandwich love, check out the Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich. This sandwich really has me feeling the heat, and it's packed with bold Cajun flavors that add that perfect little kick. Plus, it's topped with crispy onions that give it a satisfying crunch in every single bite. And did I mention this is all on top of Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich? So if you love that, you have to get your hands on this Cajun Crunch Chicken Sandwich before it's gone. For that little extra kick, it's got to be Wendy's. Open until midnight or later.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gehanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. These windows were great. Oh boy. For about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Yo, this is Flavor Flav, and I am coming at you with one of my flavor faves, Raising Cane's. So when you're looking for flavor fast, order in a flash, online or on their app. Raising Cane's. One love.
Spring is here and it's time for a fresh start, starting with your ride. At Germain Toyota, we've got an offer that'll drive you into the season in style. Get behind the wheel of a 2025 Toyota Tundra SR5 today for just $499 a month. That's right, a powerful, rugged Tundra, just like the one I'm driving, for $449 a month for 36 months. Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net. $39.99 down, 36-month lease, plus tax, title, and fees. No security deposit required with approved credit. Offer ends soon. See dealer for details.
Social media is fun, but it's not the whole picture. Comparing yourself to what you see online can be stressful. For more tips on reducing stress, go to mha.ohio.gov/check-in. A message from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services.
Well, these polymers aren't as flexible as batch K3.
Researcher Laurie is stretched thin.
Did you get the vulcanization analytics from V66? Wait, are these rubber scores from last week?
She needs to hire new lab technicians so she can bounce back into her old self.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our matching platform lets you spend less time searching and more time connecting with candidates. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Starting next Monday, Morning Juice is going digital. You can watch on the Fan's YouTube channel or listen on the Fan 3 starting at 6. Plus, you can watch the show each morning at 10 on the free 10 TV Plus app starting on Monday.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll sponsored by Caster Connection. It asks, who's going to win the Cavaliers-Pacers playoff series? That Eastern Conference semifinal game 3 is tomorrow. Friday night, Indiana has a 2-0 lead in the series thanks to their win last night in Game 2. 64% of respondents to the fan poll, sponsored by Caster Connection, say the Pacers are going to eliminate the Cavs in the series. 35% of you are with me, saying that Cleveland's still going to get the win despite that 0-2 hole.
It'll be 7, though, now.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm still with you. I still think they'll win. I just think it's going to be 7 and obviously not 6. But they also need to get their guys back. They need some cavalry to come over the hill. It's a First Friday. Time for your officially endorsed. Hit it, guys.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed. Because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
I think it was Hunter asked me for a remedy for his sick kids and something to sip on at night. And it's still a little cool. I know it's going to warm up here in the next few days and start to feel like actually the onslaught of summer, but not yet. So I'll give you this one. This is a tried and true. Here's what you do, Hunter. You take a coffee cup, a larger coffee cup or teacup. Take that, put 3 ounces of bourbon in it. That's your jumping off point. You're going to take a tablespoon of honey. You're going to take a heavy lemon squeeze, so about half of a lemon, cut it in half, and then squeeze it. And then you're going to brew some decaffeinated, the one I have is called Zen tea, but it's a decaffeinated spearmint tea. So you brew that, and then you put all of those things in the cup, and then you fill it up to the brim. It clears you out. The vitamin C helps, and then the 3 ounces of the bourbon of your choice work as a depth charge, and you'll sleep like a baby. Don't make a habit of it. Then you become Hank Williams. So don't do that. But on a one-off and as a way to get through a night, it's a win. So that's your officially endorsed on this fine First Friday. All right, time for 3 things. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Number 1 for me. I'm just going to read this straight. This is just what happened. This is from CBS News. For the second time in just over a week, an F-18 Super Hornet fighter jet assigned to the USS Harry Truman has been lost at sea. And you would say, well, was it shot down? Do we have some sort of military conflict? No. And in fact, all of the pilots involved in both of the things are fine, minor injuries only. But we have 2 instances in a month. The other one happened on the 28th, where a Super Hornet was being towed on the hangar bay, and they lost control of it and lost the plane. This is 2 lost planes. It reminded me of the line in the classic movie Snatch, where Bricktop goes to Turkish and says, "Where's gorgeous? We've lost gorgeous George." And Turkish says, "Well, where did you lose him? It's not like he's inconspicuous." It's $100 million in aircraft. How do they just fall off of aircraft carriers, for crying out loud?
It's taxpayer money being put to good
$100 million.
use.
They fell off the decks.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Losing planes.
$100 million.
It's First Friday for the program. It's an actual Friday for Eric. I'll miss the last 3 programs. When I come back on Tuesday, let's just not have anything with the fan changed. Right?
I think you're safe.
I'll be the same come next Tuesday, right?
No Wally Pips going around here. We don't need any of that, that's for sure. My first thing, I want to start with this just because I make sure we get it in here. Rothman and Ice are loaded up today, so make sure you stay tuned for them. Adam Schefter, Heather Dinich, and Bob Carpenter. That sounds like a heck of a show.
It's a great get on Dinich. She's been all over a lot of the reporting here in the last week or so. Good job out of them. Number 2 for me today, I'm watching this show. I'm out of things right now. So Gemstones ended. I finished Warrior, which I enjoyed incredibly. And so I was looking for like a drama. And we started Friends and Neighbors, the Apple show with John Hamm. It has all of the elements of what I would like, but it's got to get going. I'm 3 episodes in, and it's about ready to lose me. Like, if you don't have me hooked by episode 3, it's time. And they have all the elements. And by the way, the guy who did Warrior, the guy who did Banshee, he's running this show. But it doesn't have quite the same sense of urgency. I'm not sure why it isn't hitting or why it's not moving faster. It needs to.
Well, if you got some time over the next couple of days, the first episode of The Beat with Austin and Jeremy Birmingham has dropped. That'll be on 10 TV Plus right now, and wherever you get your podcast, you'll be able to get that. It's coming to YouTube soon.
Second thing for me, I leave the house this morning a little earlier than usual, not too much. Go to get on the freeway, and I'm like, uh-oh, this doesn't look good. And sure enough, this happens every 2 to 3 months over there. So if you're coming into town off of 70 on the west side, you've got the 270 interchange, and you've got the 270 interchange to go north. Well, every 2 to 3 months, for some reason, a semi flips right there trying to get onto 270. So wasn't too bad for me, just the first 2 or 3 minutes of the drive. I don't know what they can do there to be like, hey, semi drivers, slow down or you will flip, but they need to do something.
Yeah, it's too tight. You're right. It's something that we see far too much of. Number 3 for me, well, it's begun. This is something that I always lament this time of year. Basically what happens in the month of May, as far as I can tell from my kids' education standpoint, is we're good. The state testing is done. Like Bootsy today, I'm like, what are you doing? He's in all like neon stuff. I'm like, what are you doing?
card.
He goes, yeah, it's exactly right. AV card. He goes, oh, it's glow day, Dad. And I said, what do you mean glow day? He's like, yeah, it's called 26 days of joy to end the school year. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. I don't blame him. If I had to put up with 20 of them a day, I would probably be trying to make fun of the last month too. But my goodness, 26 days of joy.
If my ID card works on Tuesday, I'll be interested to hear the report from a wonderful friend of the program, Phil, who chimes in on the YouTube chat that he's doing the High Bank Distillery Tour on Friday. So, nice. Phil, come Monday or sometime early next week, we need a report on how that went for you and your group of friends.
Final thing for me, I was already pretty excited, more excited than usual for the Hockey World Championships that get underway, I believe here Friday, May 9th is the day, because you had Dean Evison and Steve McCarthy on the staff, you had Adam Fantilli and Ken Johnson there. Way more excited now, the news that Sidney Crosby and Nathan McKinnon will both be playing for Team Canada, and Zach. He wasn't going to play, but he is going to play for Team USA now. Super excited for Fantilli and KJ to be around two guys like Crosby and McKinnon, soaking all that knowledge up.
You going to root for the Canadians?
No, I'll still root for Zach and the Americans, but
right.
I need Adam Fantilli to soak up all of this he can.
Take it all in, brother. Take it all in. Enjoy your first Friday, kids. Make sure you act accordingly out there. Rothman and Ice coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Sick of the long security lines and flight delays? Travel on your terms. Go RVing and get ready to save at RCD RV's Open House. From May 3rd through the 10th, take advantage of huge deals on new and pre-owned RVs. Our Delaware, Heath, and Pataska locations will feature exclusive sale pricing on all new and pre-owned travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes with special financing rates available, plus discounts on camping accessories. Come by today. We'll have your road ready by Memorial Day. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. This month of May is a fantastic time to win at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Win a pair of tickets to the Memorial Tournament by visiting at Hollywood Columbus on social media and follow the steps for a chance to win. You've got a chance every Tuesday for second chance drawings. You can cash it on your losing wagers. 5 winners every Tuesday get $100 Penn cash. Plus, all-you-can-eat ribs Tuesdays and Thursdays in May, only at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook inside Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Make Mom's Day a good deal fresher at Meijer. Plump, ripe strawberries are 3 packages for $5 and are perfectly paired with fresh from Meijer muffins and a glass of the Barber & Son champagne. Show Mom some love with the colorful premium hanging basket or patio planner. Now for just $16.99, save $2. And use M-Perks to save $1 on select Mother's Day greeting cards. Give her exactly what she wants. That's the Love You Mom, Good Life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your Do the Do.
This Mother's Day, be direct. Tell Mom she shines without saying a word. At Diamonds Direct, we've curated a meaningful collection of timeless gifts for every budget, from birthstone rings and stackables to diamond pendants, pearls, and stunning earrings. So here's to Mom for her love, her strength, and always putting others first. This year, she deserves a gift that lasts a lifetime, and that's our specialty. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Broadcast